Yeah, we're talking Avalanche. We're talking Golden Knights live on ESPN. We also got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Philadelphia Flyers starting their road trip. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's go talk some puck.
Let's go! This ain't the puck like forces gegen he stinks!
Oh shit!
He's gone!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sassuti, along with the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
What up?
And the Broken One, Rob Povia.
I am master of my domain.
Well done.
A little tie-in to the little pre-show talk, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For you Seinfeld fans out there.
And today we are going to be talking about the Flyers heading on out to Western Canada for their first road trip of the year. It won't be their last, but at least they'll have an opportunity to get to see what life's like on the Pacific side of things up in the Great White North. But hopefully it's a good road trip. Hopefully they have like a pleasant stay up there and it's not bad, because that kind of happened last year, and hopefully we don't get a replay of that. But well, not last year, 2 years ago. But anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hockey Happy Hour on A2D Radio, brought to you by Body Check Wellness, created by Riley Cote, former Philadelphia and Phantoms enforcer. And at the end of the day, he created this. It is a great line of products using hemp and THC-free products. It's got edibles, ointments, gummies, you name it, they've got it. And it's great for focus, clarity, balance in your life. If you're dieting, it helps you with that as well. Rob's used them, and it has really accelerated his goal reaching, I guess would be the best way to describe it.
Catch those dreams, baby.
Yeah. And Body Check Wellness, 25% off with the promo code. Definitely check them out. They're absolutely worth it. And the poll question, which is brought to you by Manscaped. Listen, men, we all need to have confidence in the world. It's what draws in the ladies. But Bri, what makes the ladies run away in fear?
Junk funk.
Yeah. You don't want that. So go to manscaped.com, use the A2D code, and get 20% off of your order and unlock your confidence. And there's even a couple of free gifts. You have a trimmings bag so that you're not classless and you clean that shit up when it's all said and done. And you have boxers too. So that way you have some nice, awesome, cool pair of boxers you can just chill around the house with. Good stuff right there from Manscaped. So check them out. And now, the poll question. The Flyers will sweep Western Canada. Agree or disagree? Flyers going to be going up against the Oilers, the Flames, and the Canucks to finish up that season series there. Gentlemen, do you think the Flyers can sweep Western Canada?
No, sir. They got a very, very tough game on Wednesday against the Edmonton Oilers, who are starting off the season 5-0. Definitely not how I thought Edmonton was going to end up, but I mean, the Flyers have played a strong game so far. Still some things that they can work on for sure, but you know, they're going up against a very tough stretch here in Western Canada, and to start off with the Edmonton Oilers, it's tough. It's going to be definitely a tough matchup, which we'll get to see on TNT. So I disagree with the poll. It's just going to be too tough. They're playing well, but I just think they got too much on their plate for this little trip here.
Yeah, Flyers never sweep any Western Canada trip. I mean, it's good that at least it comes this early in the season. When I looked ahead at the opening month of the schedule, I was like, ooh, getting rid of some of those Western Canada trips, or at least matchups, both home and away, done real early, and that's nice. But, I mean, they're still rolling well, even coming off a tough 4-2 loss to Florida. You know, a team that's definitely pushing as a playoff contender, you know, in some people's book, championship contender. And that was a very back and forth, evenly matched game up until the very end. And this is a team that is minus a few pieces due to injury. So do they have the skill set? Are they have the momentum rolling in their way to do well on this trip? Absolutely. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Sweep it, not going that far.
All right. Well, we have a lot of the fans chiming in. Mike Parker here saying, "Got to be hard to sweep West Canada." We had Moira. Hi, Moira. John. Hey, John. We got
Johnny Spidey.
Yeah, we got Dan saying, "Hey, fellas, joining from the bus." Well, hopefully everything's going well for you out there. And basically, pretty much everybody's saying the same thing. No, it seems like it's going to be a little too difficult. And Joey chiming in here. I'm definitely disagreeing with the poll. I get it. I mean, in Western Canada, it's not easy. You are dealing with a time change. I mean, hell, the Sharks dealt with it on Sunday, and literally not even 20 seconds into the game, cum fungus scored on them. So it's like, yeah, that time change screwed them because that was a matinee game. So imagine a West Coast Pacific team and a matinee game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's like 10 in the morning to them. So it was pretty bad. They were shaking off a lot of sleep in that first period. So, yeah, a time zone change is very much a real thing. But I also think, too, that would kind of somewhat take away from the fact that they are skilled teams that you're going up against. Calgary is always they're not going to be an easy team. They like to throw the body around, and they can score. And also, you got Edmonton. We already know what they have. There's no real need for discussion on that. Although Mike Smith is out, but that's actually a good thing. So, and then on top of it, then you have Vancouver, and we learned a lot from Vancouver in game one. They're not an easy team to go up against. They can control the play when you let them. So, goal is to kind of rebound after that semi-rough go of it in that home opener against them. But
yeah, and you expect a different game now that the Flyers have a little bit of video on this Vancouver team. So I think that'll make things a little bit easier for them. But in the long run, Vancouver's still a very tough team. They are playing better than they were last year for sure early on. And like I said, you saw Edmonton, who is a playoff contender. You have Calgary, who could be a potential playoff contender. Their roster is stacked, but it's just a matter of playing well together, which for some reason Calgary doesn't like doing. I mean, they played okay under Bill Peters, and then he got fired, and they played all right under the new coach. But I don't know what it is with Calgary, but I mean, they do have a very good roster as well. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough stretch for Flyers. It really is, and for them to sweep it is going to be a very tall task. Doable, but I just think it's unlikely.
Well, in regard to Dan's Vancouver Canucks there, what's the latest on Brock Bresser? I know he was out for the first game. Is he back in their lineup? Is that someone that the Flyers are going to have to account for?
I will double check for you real quick.
Yeah, because I haven't heard much, and I'm apologize, fam. Though maybe audio or video quality, I had to come from my phone. My computer decided to update for 5 hours today. Excellent, excellent.
And Mike Parker here saying, "What 4 days rest on the time change though? I think there's some COVID protocols to follow when teams jump the border." I think there is some. I don't think it's obviously not as restrictive as it was. Meanwhile, also Colorado and Vegas just got started.
And it's 1-0 already.
Holy shit, it is.
Plus, both last season and the season prior, eliminating the international travel, that was during a time where Canada was doing, quite well in terms of keeping the numbers down from the pandemic. Well, things have kind of changed since then. You know what I mean? They might have a harder time getting back. No, but U.S. just opened up to international travel too, so I don't think that's all kidding aside, at this point, it seems like all the four majors, most major sports, have this on lockdown, by now in terms of protocols and keeping the players safe, keeping the fans safe. Got to applaud all their efforts.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Chandler Stevenson got the first one here for Vegas. They're up 1-0 early on. I'm not seeing anything about a return date. Apparently, he's played in 3 games this year, though. He's probably already back. So played 3 games, has a goal and assist for 2 points in 3 games so far this season.
Yeah, he may have only missed that opener or maybe an additional game as well. It just that in terms of what you boys were saying in terms of, or Brian, to your point, you're saying they have the video on them. They'll be able to better handle them. Well, they didn't. I mean, they didn't have Brock in the lineup during that time. So, I mean, that's something to account for. And it's going to be, all 3 games are going to be a true test. I mean, certainly Connor McDavid, fastest player in the game. It's going to be, the Flyer speed is going to be put on test to try to keep tabs on that, man. And in terms of Calgary and Vancouver, I really the game that I sort of have most trepidation on is that Vancouver Canucks game.
Which I can understand. I mean, like I said, I've been high on Vancouver the last couple of years because I like the way they built the team. I like the mixture of veteran leadership and young talent that they have, and even some of the veteran leadership is still young talent. So I like where Vancouver is. So they are definitely they're all 3 of these teams aren't going to be teams to really they're not pushover teams. So
yeah,
there is potential for the Flyers to get swept. Again, I think that also is unlikely, but I mean you truly never know. This is the first road trip for this roster that has a bunch of new faces on it. So could be a huge bonding trip for them, build some chemistry. You get the big one out of the way early. I mean, they're still going to have another Western road trip, but you get the hard one out of the way first, because you go to California, you go to Seattle. Those teams they're not as tough as the Canadian teams they have to play.
Yeah, 2 of them in rebuild. One of them so far okay, but we'll see how the season goes for them.
Yeah.
But Jake saying, "What up, boys? I'm going to agree with the poll. Let's go Flyers." Nice. That's some orange and black flowing through the veins of Jake tonight.
Oh, that's a homework comment, Jake. Come on, you're better than that. I'm just kidding.
And Don saying, "What's up? What's up, Don?
Don, what's up, D?
Don.
Moira did say, "I'd be happy with a split on the road," which I think is pretty much the goal.
Cheers to that. Oh, by the way, this is that stuff I was telling you guys about before last week.
Nice.
So
how's
it's
it
not
taste?
bad. It's
not
all right.
bad?
It's all right. Yeah, Priz, you're going into the box. 10-minute misconduct.
John saying F COVID.
I agree
Good
with
on
that
you, sir.
wholeheartedly, John. Miss you, buddy.
And Frank saying, "Hey, yo, I disagree to the poll. That Edmonton team is going to be tough, but I hope they get one back on the Canucks."
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see them get the season series sweep on the Canucks, but like I said, I've been high on them for a couple years now. I like where they're at. I think losing Markstrom was a big, I don't want to say a mistake, because they still have Arthur Demko, who's a solid goaltender, but I thought Markstrom was just better. But again, still high on this team. I still think Vancouver could be a playoff team, and I think they're going to be a playoff team.
And then
What's up, Mike?
Mike saying, "What's up with Ellis? Getting a little concerning." Yeah, Ellis was out in the previous game against Florida with an injury. I have not heard that it's long term, so he should hopefully be back in the lineup come Wednesday night against Edmonton. It seemed like they were pretty sure he could be. It's just no real, they say lower upper body injury, so it's not like they're going to tell you the specifics all the time. So, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
didn't hear
think
that
it
it
was-
was a major injury.
I thought it was maybe like a maintenance thing.
Yeah.
Because like you just said, Maddie, they didn't really specify on what it was. Whatever it is, doesn't seem serious. So could be a day-to-day thing, could be a maintenance thing just to keep him fresh. I mean, the Flyers have enough defensemen right now that they can rotate guys.
Yeah.
To give him days off early to keep him fresher for the playoffs. So I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't heard much on this injury.
Mike is saying that AV said he was out tomorrow, so maybe that just recently came through on the wire that he's out for tomorrow's game. But again, like you were saying, Brian, day to day, don't want to rush back if there is a slight injury that he might have, and then he's out for a long-term period.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get. It's tough for me to get all the updates down here.
No, it's all right. It happens. It's okay. Anyway.
Usually, I'm on top of it.
But right now, Colorado does have a power play on a tripping call on the Golden Knights. And let's see. Prism saying, I want to take a second to say, fuck whatever hockey god. I'm looking at you, Gordy. That decided to flush my season in the shitter. By the way, speaking of that, the Blackhawks, yeah, they were off to a pretty rough start for them. Fleury, ooh, not looking great. Team not looking great. But at the same time, though, it's still very early, so we'll see. But as for unfortunate news on the off-ice situation, they were recently fined for the sex scandal that has been running through the Blackhawks organization. Forget how much. I think they got fined, what, $2 million? Something around that range.
Somewhere around there.
So that recently came through on the wire. So that's that's a tough one to take as an organization. That's a hit to your pride. That's a hit to you just personally, because it's just like, you support the organization. If you're a fan, you love the organization, you love the players on the organization. It's just an insult to everybody who supports it, and an insult to the players too, that the organization would be possibly allowing things like that to be going on behind closed doors and being fined now for it. So
yeah, I'm seeing it now. NBC Sports reporting he's not playing against Edmonton. Inquirer's reporting that he's not playing against Edmonton.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing nothing about. I guess they never were really. So Ellis considered day to day with undisclosed injury.
And Mike saying, you all hear anything on the Allison surgery? No, have not heard anything about Wade Allison or a timetable of his return. Let's see. Prism saying Quinville was in the know about the situation. That hurts. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If Quinville knew about it, shouldn't be.
I mean, I feel like they all knew about it, but unfortunately, some of those guys sweep that stuff under the rug. But yeah. I just, it's terrible. That's all I can say. I'm speechless on it.
Yeah, but turning things back to more positive news. Talk about the Flyers and how they've been doing recently. Starting off things, obviously, we got a chance to cover the first two games of the season. We got to see them with their opening night matchup against Vancouver. Had a rough ending, unfortunately, on a shootout loss, but the Flyers did have a great comeback in that, followed by a dominant win against the Seattle Kraken. And then after that, we did the show, and then preceding that was the rest of the games on the homestand. So the next game that came up on the list was their first matchup against the Boston Bruins, the Philly-Boston rival getting started early. And the Flyers were able to turn the Bruins back, winning 6-3. A bit of an intriguing game. They had a hard time getting the puck off of the perfection line, but they always stayed one step ahead of them in terms of scoring goals. And then eventually they were able to increase that in the third period and solidify their victory with an empty netter. So that's always nice to see the Flyers get a win on the Bruins, because you know what? Fuck the Bruins. And then on top of that, they then followed it up with their game against the Panthers, which was a bit of a heartbreaker. And one mistake can sink the ship sometimes, and that one mistake did sink the ship when Huberdeau got that shorthanded goal off of a rebound off of his own breakaway chance, which Hart saved first off, and then by sheer fucking dumb luck, where's the puck wind up? On Huberdeau's stick. He just shoots it off of Hart into the back of the net. It's like, fucking course. and waste a perfectly good game by Carter Hart, which was the shame of it all. Although Bob did play very well in that game too, so can't take anything away from the other goaltender and the other team. And that's pretty much the two games that have gone down since we last did a show. So, Bri, as I'm able to get Rob back in here.
Oh,
Gentlemen-
hail Carter Hart.
So, gentlemen, after seeing those last two games, Flyers up against the Panthers and against the Bruins, what notes do you take away from that? What things do you want to pull away from the victory against the Bruins and the loss against the Panthers?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I like how strong the forecheck has been. You saw that in both the Boston game as well as Florida, hanging tough with a really potent Boston lineup. And like I said earlier against Florida, they were in that game. I get the final score was 4-2, but in honor of the avatar I have in front, what we're starting to see, boys, is we're starting to see Carter Hart make the spectacular play and having that be a driving force for this team. This is what you saw a lot in the 2019-20 season and his rookie season. And he's going to work hard in cleaning up those fundamentals. I'm excited to see the progression in this young man this season.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the game I saw was Carter Hart, but the one thing I noticed was Marty Jones played a pretty strong game against the Bruins and looked pretty solid in net. I do like that, he's showing some stability especially against a tough Boston team. That offense is just completely explosive at times. And it goes throughout the entire lineup. It's not just a perfection line. It's all throughout that Boston lineup. But I didn't get to see the Panthers game, unfortunately, but I know the Panthers are bigger, they're faster than they were last year. They brought in Sam Bennett, which was a great move for them. That adds goal scoring to them, and they're going to be another tough team to play this year. You got Spencer Knight playing pretty well. And the big one that was going to be a big question on how much success the Panthers had this year is Sergei Bobrovsky seems to have found his touch early on. Right. So he seemed to have found his game again in the early season. So it could be a huge opportunity for the Panthers to really gain some ground in the Atlantic Division and then maybe finish higher than we expected.
Yeah, he certainly saved Florida some goals there. I mean, that easily could have been a flip-flop score in favor of the Flyers. But for the Boston game, that's why I wanted you to touch upon that, and you did it beautifully with Marty Jones, a guy that's being roasted as a guaranteed L for this team based on preseason hockey when he's playing with B and C level defenders in front of him. You got the A team in front of him playing well. I mean, I know we were minus Ryan Ellis over the weekend with that upper body injury, but besides that, on Wednesday was a full squad, and he showed 34 saves, I believe he made, just rattling that off the top of my head, in a game that could have also gone the other way in Boston's favor. So I think we got two good quality goaltenders here in Philadelphia and depth, and this team can be dangerous, boys. It's time to believe. It's time to put that believer hat on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Vegas is definitely believers. They just got a shorthanded goal.
What a strip. Who was that? Willie Carlson?
I believe it was. And he just went on down.
Oh, no. It was Riley Smith.
And he wound up getting harassed, but he still kept it. And then either Carlson knocked it in or Smith just really puck handled this beautifully and kept it away.
He boxed out Comfort.
He did.
I don't know who's getting credit for that goal. I think that's Riley Smith's goal.
It might be, yeah. But, yeah, that 2-0 now Vegas in the first period on a Colorado power play, too. So a shorthanded marker for the Vegas Golden Knights. God damn. Well, Vegas is off to a fiery start, aren't they? But then again, we kind of expected them to be.
I was going to say, is there any surprise there?
No, not really. Moira saying too many issues with discipline with the Panthers. They seem bigger and faster. That is true. The Flyers did have a parade to the penalty box, and especially in that second period where all they did was make a bad play and get themselves caught in a bad penalty. And while, yes, you can definitely say there was one or two calls questionable, you know what? It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Nick Seeler absolutely dove and drew a penalty anyway. So bad calls were going both ways. It wasn't, and that really doesn't matter at that point, because the point is that whether you agree with them or you disagree with the calls, you can't be doing that parade to the penalty box. And that's exactly what the Flyers were doing in the second period. And it cost them. Eventually it did. It took a little bit, but eventually it came back and bit them in the ass. Ironically, though, penalty kill did a great enough job of killing off almost all of them. And then Owen Tippett scored on even strength. But, of course, we wait till a Flyers power play, and then they make a stupid pass, and that leads to a shorthanded goal for the Panthers to kind of get back at you from Atkinson's shorthanded goal earlier in the night. So it's like, of course, that's the hockey gods, just cruel karma catching up to us there. It's like, yep. And I will say this, I think the Flyers got a little too pass happy there towards the end of the game. Way too many passes on those power plays. Not enough shots, not enough pressure on Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky was feeling it that night. So you got to get pressure on him. You got to, unless you want to just not win the game, which I kind of felt like, it's like, why are we passing the puck? You got 4 minutes left and you're down by 1 goal, or you're down by 2 and you're still passing the puck. Why aren't you throwing it to the net? Why aren't you trying to get a dirty goal?
Obviously, Bob was in their head. He's making spectacular save after spectacular save. So they're like, oh, we got to make it perfect. We got to make it, tic-tac-toe in order to score on them. Instead of, that's garbage. That's a garbage take. You continue firing the rubber on net, and eventually you're going to crack even the greatest of goaltenders. You got to keep on working hard. So I'm right with you, Maddie. That's absolutely what happened in that game. Too many passing in the end. And with the discipline, of course the hockey gods are going to balance that out. When you continue to take penalties like, popping Juji fruit over here, like Halloween coming up, or some candy corn, it's going to even out, and it evened out and then some.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take too many penalties. You find yourself on the penalty kill, you're going to find yourself behind in the game. It's just, that's like some like hockey IQ 101. Because a team like the Panthers, you know how good they are. You know how much firepower they have. They have an explosiveness to them. They have speed to them. They have a great goaltender. You have 2 potentially great goaltenders in that organization, and to put yourself at a disadvantage by keeping yourself in the box. Oh, things are getting real rough in the Vegas game here.
Yeah, they are.
You put yourself at a disadvantage, and when you put yourself at a disadvantage, you're going to put yourself behind, and then climbing out of the hole against a good team like the Florida Panthers it's a tall task. It's a tall task, especially when you have guys like Bobrovsky, who's making stellar saves, or even you can say Swayman had a couple of really good saves for Boston in the game last Wednesday. So you gotta keep yourself at an advantage, and you gotta figure out a way to stay in front, keep the puck in the offensive zone, and just like you and Maddie were saying, and I'm in full agreement, just put the puck on the net. Just put the puck on the net. Good things happen. Get a guy out in front. Get 2 guys out in front. Outnumber the defenseman and the goaltender. That all that really does is it's greaten your chances at creating not only a scoring opportunity but a goal.
No,
and I don't fully agree with you, Mike, saying that to bench Knuble to see what Brown has. I wouldn't mind seeing what Brown has, but sit here and say that Knuble makes too many penalties and turnovers. He's had 2 penalties in 4 games. Turnovers, possibly. I mean, especially in the Panthers game, I'm sure there was sloppy play forcing the puck, but he's had 2 penalties in 4 games.
Yeah, right before you brought up that comment, I was just about to sing the praises of the fourth line. I thought they've been playing good, energetic hockey, having some good positive shifts in the offense, in the offensive zone. And I mean, I get it. I mean, I'd like to see what Brown has too, Mike. I get it. You know what I mean? But, I don't know. I mean, you see, a guy in Knack who, plays all 5 areas of the game, pretty darn well. I mean, am I wrong? Have I missed a mistake that he's made? Please bring it to my attention, because, maybe besides some poor discipline in the Florida game, continuously driving the net, getting pucks on net, having a strong forecheck in the corner boards. That's what you asked for from your fourth liners.
Yeah, Knack is one of those guys. He's a blue-collar guy. Knack is a guy who's going to get in there. He's going to get into the dirty areas. He's gonna forecheck. He's going to get into that. He's going to, create opportunities with the puck because he does have some speed to him and he's got offensive touch. Can he turn the puck over? Absolutely. Every player turns the puck over at some point. It doesn't matter who it is. I've seen Patrice Bergeron, Patrick Kane, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. They all turn the puck over. But again, with the whole penalties thing, he's only had 2 in 4 games. So to say that he's taking too many penalties is a bad take. If you want to see Brown, I'm all for it. This is a league where you need grit, and you're in a division where you need grit because there's big-bodied guys in just about every team. Anders Lee in New York, Tom Wilson with the Capitals, Ryan Reeves now with the Rangers. So you have the big-body guys. You need the grit. So yeah, let's not figure out a reason to take guys out of the lineup to just put another guy in there. Let's see. It's early on. Let's see what some of these guys have and what they bring and find the best combination and best chemistry to win hockey games.
Yeah, I agree. And DeMeo saying Flyers go 1-1-1 on the road trip. I don't see them beating Edmonton without Ellis.
I mean, even with Ellis, it's a tall task. I'm with you, Ant. I would like to see them go at least 2-1. I think they can beat Calgary. I think they can beat Vancouver. I just don't think they can beat Edmonton right now. Yeah, Edmonton's 5-0.
Yeah, Edmonton's been feeling it in the early parts of the season. I mean, there is a first loss for everyone somewhere down the line. But at the same time, though, you have to just wait and see at the end of the day, And Flyers are a team that are not as familiar with Edmonton. Edmonton's not as familiar with the Flyers. And obviously both teams, well, one team has made a lot of changes. Edmonton refuses to make changes and pretends it's 1980. But in the end, though, it will be interesting to see how that matchup goes. Guys, what do you think will happen in this game? Do you think that what do you think like a score would be, or who do you think would be a big part for the Flyers and for Edmonton in this game if either side was to win this one?
Well, obviously you got to stop the speed of Edmonton. That's the big one. Shutting down Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, all the big name guys like that. Mike, anytime, man, you're more than always welcome to come back on the show. We'll always read your comments, stuff like that. So we really appreciate you chiming in with us. So yeah, shutting down the speed, getting some shots on net, really making that defense work, making the goaltender work as well. Really, you gotta put pressure on Edmonton, keep them in their zone. And if you can, and I know it's again tall task, phrase of the day, tall task. You got to keep McDavid off the board. You got to keep McDavid off the board. You got to keep him contained. As a score goes, I mean, I could very easily see it being like 5-3 Edmonton.
Yeah, I got you. I'm looking at I think that the Flyers, offensively wise, I think they can keep pace to an extent because they have been getting goal scoring. But I would say, I'm thinking around that. Yeah, I'm thinking around maybe around like a 5. Yeah, I think Brian did hit the nail on the head, honestly. I think a 5-3 is probably a very realistic score. I can see the Flyers putting 3 up. I can see Draisaitl and McDavid turning the game into their playhouse. So if that does happen, then I could expect them to get 2 goals apiece. Most likely that could happen. So, plus also, of course, it depends on how Carter's playing that night. So, but, yeah, I'll go 5-3. I think Brian hit the nail on the head. I think that's a fair score on the game. I do think it does go Edmonton's way with the way that they're playing with the momentum. And they are in Edmonton. So there is also that factor too.
Which is tough, but let's turn that negative and spin it into a positive, boys. Where is Carter Hart from?
Edmonton. Yeah.
I see what
my
you're saying.
boy, my son is going to be standing on his head in this game. This is a Flyers team that is 2 spectacular Bob saves away from scoring a minimum of 4 goals per game in every game. And, living in reality, you still have a team that scored 18 goals in 4 games. I think they come in hot. I think they're able to score against this Edmonton team that always has trouble between the pipes. And yeah, Ellis still being out will be tough in terms of curtailing their offense, but I think Flyers win this game in a barn burner.
All right.
And I'm going to say they win it 5-4.
Yeah, I can get behind that comment, Mike, 100%. He could.
Yeah. I mean, if that does happen, maybe we see – I don't know if Carter shuts it out, but I think maybe he keeps them to 2 goals, and maybe the Flyers walk away with a 4-2 win. Maybe
I still gave him some goals because we're down our top D-man. You know what I mean? So, there's going to be some scoring, but a goalie can still steal you a game. It doesn't have to be a shutout or a low-scoring game. It still steals you the game. That's why that was still the premise behind that. I mean, you think, giving up 4 goals, he must have had a bad game, but if that's on 48 shots.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the league average now is 3 goals. You need at least 3 goals to win a game. The league average for goals against for a goaltender is not as low as it used to be. The league average is around that 3.5. So if they can get away with giving up 3 goals, 4 goals to Edmonton, I think that's, and I know it seems to be a Philly phrase lately, that's a moral victory. Yo, what's up, Chris?
Chris saying, "What's up, boys? Sixers stink. All we have is the Flyers."
Need Ben Simmons back.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did.
Oh, no.
Joey's saying the Flyers need to be America's top team. And fuck, the Predators just scored on a power play. Oh, God.
All right, so real quick, let's do a scoring update. Got a bunch of games on task here real quick. Anaheim and Winnipeg will be playing later on tonight. Have not gotten underway. We'll start at 10 o'clock. About 2 minutes left to go in a second. We got the Flames up 4-1 on the Devils. We have the Lightning currently shutting out the Penguins 3-0. About a minute and a half left in the second. For those not keeping up with us with our live updates, Golden Knights are up 2-0 on the Avalanche, getting ready to end up the first. Predators up 1-0 on the Sharks. As Matty just said, that goal came from Matt Duchene, picking up his second of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 other games later on tonight at 10 o'clock. We got the Vancouver Canucks against the Minnesota Wild, and the Kraken are at home taking on the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. And by the way, the Kraken did start their official regular season rivalry with the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks, at the very last minute, by the way, snagging victory from what seemed like it would have been the jaws of defeat, because the Kraken actually had the momentum on their side. They had a power play going and everything. But eventually, Connor Garland scored and put the Canucks up, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah. Yo, did you see what he did after he scored that goal?
No, what did he do?
So apparently there was a fan sitting behind the bench flipping him off. As soon as he scored the goal, I kid you not, I saw the video. He skated up to the bench, stopped, stared at him for a good minute and a half. Just absolutely just stared, did not move. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting on my, where was I? I think I was at work. I was sitting on my station chuckling at it. I'm like, this is why I love hockey. This is a Steve Thomas thing all over again. Robbie, I know you know what I'm talking about with that, right?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Dude is giving, for those who don't know, Steve Thomas was playing for, I believe, Chicago at the time. And a fan was heckling the entire game and was giving him shit. And later in the game, a puck, I guess, was deflected up into the stands, wound up hitting the guy in the face, breaking his nose. Mm-hmm. Steve Thomas comes skating around, points at him, and laughs as he's skating by.
Yeah.
Because this was the same guy heckling him earlier. So you got to love it. You do. You got to love it.
Instant karma from the hockey gods there on a fan. Let's see. Chris Dunn saying, any chance we can finally trade JVR before the deadline? Afraid it will be a ghost type trade. So I have a feeling. Do you guys think that we're going to get a lot more of the "Let's trade JVR" posts this year, like we did last year? You think that that's still going to be a big trend?
I do, and I think a lot of it doesn't really necessarily have to do with his production. I think it's going to be more along the lines of his contract itself and how much they're paying him, which what I believe is 7.5.
Yeah, it's a nice penny.
Over the next 2 years? This is the third year of his 5-year deal. So
I
he's got 2 more
believe
years.
so. Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know if anybody's going to take the contract now, but I think it's more likely if he does remain a Flyer this year that he gets moved next year. I think it's going to be easier for another team to eat that contract on the final year versus trying to eat it for 2 years. There are teams that can afford the deal, but it's going to be a matter of where some of these teams are considering like where their rebuild is. I know the Red Wings are playing decent hockey right now, so they may not. Anaheim's playing decent hockey right now. They may not. LA may not. It depends. I think right now it's a little too early to tell, but I think JVR does eventually get traded, but I don't think it's this year. I do think it's next year, though.
Rob, what do you think?
Not much to add there. I mean, I don't get it all the time. You need leadership on the team, and you need guys doing the little things. I don't think he's played particularly bad to keep on warranting, the trade talks. I get it that, the contract hamstrings what you can do, and if you can get value, I get it. You want to get younger, maybe, okay, but other than that, I don't know. Try not to be a loyalist here, but I see a guy working hard 60 minutes every game, leading by example. Why would you want to trade that away from your team?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I got you guys. All right, then. So let's see here. Personally, for me also, it's like, well, we'll wait and see with JVR. There's no, I'm not really in a rush. Because like you said, Rob, he's been helping a lot of the play on the third or the second line. I forget which line he's on. I think it's the third. It is the third line. Okay, thank you, Rob. And he's been elevating the play, and he's really been helping get to those dirty areas, get those pucks free. He's standing in front of the goalie all the time, really helping with the screens, which does help shooting pucks from the point, which the Flyers love to do. So, I mean, I'm not really in any rush, in my opinion.
You got talent ahead of them, and you got guys playing well. Farabee, Brassard, that whole line. Cam Atkinson he's on pace right now for what, 264 goals this season? I think that would be a record. But I like that dynamic, that third line with Scotty Lawton and Oscar Lindblom. I mean, guys that do 3 different things. You know what I mean? And they complement each other well. Continue to get dirty while and you're seeing I'm even seeing a big hitting game coming from Lindblom that I never thought I would see that kid develop as part of his game. He's getting grizzled. He's getting a little bark on him, and that's only going to be great for his game. So where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, JVR has a lot of grit to him. You can pass that on to people.
Right. And I'm not belittling any comment. I mean, if you can improve your hockey club and shed cap, you can always get better. I don't care how great. You know what I mean? You can be this Dynamo that we're watching tonight, the Vegas Golden Knights. They can still get better. So never live for contentness. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I dig it, but it just, I don't know. You got to value what you got. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And I don't think it will be a Ghost type of deal, because we needed to get rid of Ghost anyway, because we needed the cap space with all the contracts that they were about to throw out left and right to, some of the younger guys. Also, freeing up some space to sign Carter Hart. There were a number of things that had to be taken care of in the offseason, and Ghost needed to go for that reason. And not taking on any salary was probably the best thing they could have done in that case. So they didn't take on a player, even a minor league player. They said, no, we don't really want anything for him right now. You just take him, because we got other things we got to take care of, and we need the cap space to do it. So I think that I think ultimately I wouldn't see the same kind of deal for a JVR. I would see you get a little bit of something for him. I don't think it would be astronomical, but you get something for him, in return. It wouldn't be a ghost deal.
Yeah, I just want to touch on Chris's comment real quick. Chris wants to know what the guys we traded away are doing. I haven't gotten to see their play, but as far as offensive production goes, Jake is on par for what Jake does. 5 assists in 6 games. Nolan Patrick, a little bit of a slower start. 1 goal in 4 games for Vegas. Playing tonight right now. And then Ghost has 4 assists in 6 games for Arizona. So pretty much par for the course for these guys right now. Not any significant changes. They're not playing worse. They're not playing better. But again, I haven't seen their overall play yet. Haven't seen enough of their overall play, I should say. So par for the course as far as offensive production goes.
Yeah.
One guy that's been doing well for a surprising start, you're talking about other surprising starts that you mentioned earlier, the Buffalo Sabres team that's 5-0-0. Who saw that coming? And part of it's been due to a great play from Robert Hogg. The just last game, I believe he had a goal, 2 assists, and was a +3 or +4 on the night. Saw that tweet go out. I was like, God damn. He played well, but sometimes you see guys that have talent go to other places and really thrive. You know what that's going to feel, boys? If Risto has any sort of slump or down period, they're going to start blasting that deal. Luckily, he's been playing pretty well so far. Hopefully he keeps that up.
Yeah. And he's had some growing pains. He's made an error or two, but he learns from them, and that's the important thing. Young kid, and he's actually on a team that gives a shit. So he's got a lot to adjust to, as opposed to being in Buffalo where no one cares. So
I don't know if you even blame that line change on him, because it was the guy that was supposed to sub in for him. I forget which player it was slow to hop off the boards. So he just reacted. He's like, "Oh shit, he's not coming. I see this guy going in on a breakaway. He looks like he's caught with red-handed right there. But if he gets subbed on right away, that guy comes off the board and he's got speed to get back. So those things happen. Especially on the. It should have been on the. It was at home, so that's a little bit disturbing actually.
Yeah. But there. But again, too, also that perfection line will take advantage of you if you make even the slightest error. Even if you're a half a second behind, they'll make you pay for it. I mean, think about it. He was a half a second behind of stick checking Cum Fungus, and Cum Fungus was able to put it right under Carter Hart's or Martin Jones' 5-hole there. And it's like, well, that's not really his fault, because friggin' I think it was Pasta who made the pass, or it was one of them, is on the other side of the net. He's able to just put that puck right through the slot, right onto Marchand's stick. So it's like, that's not his fault. His defensive partner should not have allowed that pass to happen, really, at the end of the day.
Right. I'm glad you took it back there, Maddie, because I wanted to get your take, actually, on Marty Jones' play there against Boston, being familiar with them and following the Sharks. Like, did he surprise you? Is it pretty much par for the course?
Here's the thing about Jones. He has good moments, and he shows flashes of his old self. He did it with San Jose over the last couple of seasons, but he was not consistent with it. Now, here's the thing, though. He was taking a massive amount more of the games because he was supposed to be the starter for San Jose. I think his starting days are over. I think that's what it is. It's like, okay, maybe he's just a backup now. And it happens to goalies. You could be great as a starter for a while. And he was. He was probably one of the better goaltenders that the Sharks had post Evgeny Nabokov. Actually, he was, honestly, because how many goaltenders did the Sharks burn through until they found him and used him for a while? So, again, it's just one of those things of, I think he's getting to that point in his career where, okay, it's time to be a backup. Elliott went through the same thing. We brought him in originally to be a stopgap, but then we realized, well, Hart's ready, so let's make him the backup. And Moose was fine as a backup. He didn't have to log too many games, and in the games we had him in, he was fine. Yeah, he gave up the occasional softie a time or two, which, we got on to him about, but at the end of the day, for the most part, he was just fine. If Jones can do the same thing and not log nearly as many games and have solid performances in all of them, then that's all I could ask for him, because Hart is the starter. So that's the difference. Whereas Jones was the starter in San Jose, he is not the starter here in Philadelphia. So the ability for him to be a strong backup is there.
Well, then he properly replaces Moose and at a cheaper value. You know what I mean? Which is what you were looking for at the time, at the point of signing him, and it allowed them to make the other signings that they did. So yeah, if he can come in, and be solid, maybe have that one spectacular game, in a backup role, then that's perfect.
Yeah. And what's going on, Greg? Saying what's up, fellas?
What's up, Greg?
John Malmo saying, good evening, gentlemen. Hello, John. Hopefully all is well with all you despite the Biden administration. I wonder who who's going to vote for in the up and coming elections.
Well, for those paying attention to the World Series, Braves are up 3-0.
Oh, game
Top
one
of the second.
the Astros. Oh boy.
I've always been a guy. If a team from your division, certainly your league gets the big dance, you root for them to win. That way, it gets it out of their system. But you applaud their efforts, and I mean, how can you not? A team that lost Ronald Acuna to get there, you know what I mean?
They dealt with some massive injuries this year. Acuna definitely being the big one. They went out. They made some good moves.
Yeah,
they made some good moves to help. I mean, Jock Peterson wasn't the pretty one, but it wasn't a sexy move at the time, but it's a move that's helped them win baseball games, and now they're up 3-0 on the Astros in game one. But I mean, there's still a whole lot of baseball left. It's only the top of the second.
All right, then.
Like they were saying yesterday, Tommy and Ryan on Monday Morning Quarterback, which you can catch it, I believe it's like 5:30ish on Mondays. This has got to put pressure on the Phillies now. You gotta put pressure on this team to make better moves, to be more competitive and all that. I mean, I think this puts pressure on them regardless. But if the Braves could walk away with another title, I think that puts a ton of pressure on the Phillies. It puts a ton of pressure on the Mets. It puts pressure on everybody in the division to be better.
Agreed. Yeah, I didn't want to steal their thunder because they said it. Absolutely. And I'm glad you pointed it out, because that's exactly what it does. It challenges you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Greg saying, disagree to the poll. There's always going to be that dud game. And Chris saying, yeah, he's with Vegas for Nolan Patrick. Mike saying, I believe this year 4 out of 5 for JVR, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 year left on the contract then. All
so
right.
This year's 4, and then he's got next year. So like I was saying earlier, I don't think he gets traded this year because he's got 2 years left, including this year. Then he's got the 5th year. And then that'll be the year I think he gets traded. Again, easier to swallow a 7.5 for a couple months versus 2 years.
Yeah. And Greg saying our goaltending isn't consistent enough right now to go on a streak. I don't know if it's I wouldn't necessarily say goaltending's been inconsistent. I think Hart's been fine. And yeah, those 2 softies on that Vancouver game, that's just bullshit fucking luck going their way. But I didn't think Jones was bad, and I don't think Hart has been bad in any of his games.
4 games.
Yeah, so I don't think it's goaltending.
It's Philly. It's goaltending. It's got to be.
Oh, man, the Flyers lost 7-0. Goaltending issues. Bitch, you ain't score. You ain't going to win if you don't score.
Real talk.
It is real talk. It's the same thing that they were saying with the Eagles. Like, it doesn't matter. You can blame the defense all you want, but if Jalen Hurts can't drive the field and put you in the end zone, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. You're not going to win if you don't score.
No.
Same thing in hockey, same thing in baseball.
Yeah, that's true. You could have freaking Patrick Waugh in net, but if your defense is shit, fucking forget it. You're getting a 5 spot put on Waugh. And that's actually fair, because in his era, that would have been 12. So it's like, he would have been having a good night at least. But let's see. Double zeros. Completely forgot about Ghost, and is he having a good season? Apparently, he's got those 4 assists going for him on a really bad Coyotes team. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's fine for him individually.
He's probably he probably is their best defender right now.
Yeah, good point, actually, and that's actually not a good thing. I love Ghost, but Ghost was kind of inconsistent.
They have good guys. They have Jacob Chikrin, who's a good defenseman. But I mean, I think Ghost right now is their best on the roster. They had Ekman Larson, but traded him to Vancouver, which is another reason why I think Vancouver is going to be better than people think. They made the nice moves in the offseason, but again, it's tough. It's tough to say. I haven't seen Arizona, but I mean, offensive production, he's about par for the course right now.
Well, they're
plus minus looking.
I'll tell you in 1 second.
Thank you.
It might not be looking great despite the
I feel
assists.
so naked right now. I have no access to stats.
Sorry, I got you.
It might not look all that good though, because unfortunately the Coyotes are winless right now in their season. So it may still be a minus, even if he's got those 4 assists. Yeah, it isn't good.
It could be worse. He's at a -4 right now.
Well, it could be worse on a winless team. You are correct.
-4 in 6 games. That's almost he's on the ice for almost a goal a game.
Yeah. So Arizona currently a winless wonder right now in the NHL here, which, I mean, were we expecting anything less from this team? We were kind of expecting them to not have a good season. So it's only fitting that their first 5, they have no wins.
Quebec 2024, baby.
Realignment's coming back once again. Someone's ass is going back to the West. Looking at you, Detroit. Looking at you.
We have enough over on the West. We need to get rid of some of these teams.
Yeah, take Detroit back, please.
You guys can have Chicago. We'll take Detroit back.
No. You can keep Chicago. We'll give you back Detroit. And we'll
fine. You can have
slot
Nashville then.
Quebec
Take
back
Nashville. I don't want Nashville anymore. Nashville's fans annoy me.
You don't want the catfish people.
It's not the catfish that I don't mind. It's a stupid chance they do. It's so annoying. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. You're down 4-0. You were down 4-0 until you scored that goal. Knock it off.
Nashville currently still up 1-0, by the way, in the first period. 8 shots to 4 in favor of Nashville. So San Jose at the end of a long road trip. So I could see this. Hopefully it won't get too ugly tonight. Hopefully they'll also have some comeback juice in them. They did make that Boston game interesting very, very late. Linus Ullmark did not look great towards the end of the game.
Has San Jose been on the road to start the season so far?
They did start with Winnipeg at home. Came back and won that game, and then they went on, I believe it's a 5-game road trip, because they swept Eastern Canada, which is surprising because the last time they did that, they went to the final. I don't think that the same thing is going to happen this year, but they actually impressed me, although Toronto has been imploding on themselves at the very beginning of the season, and a lot of fans have been pissed off. Actually, funny enough, at the end of that San Jose game, after they lost, a fan took their jersey off and hurled it to the ice. They were so pissed at the Toronto loss to San Jose. I got to admit, that's pretty damn funny. It's like, God damn, Toronto fans are just ready to fucking give up at this point. Holy shit.
Time to burn the motherfucker down.
Yeah. It's that Detroit. Their fan base is like, their fan base is a joke. They are. You were 2 or 3 games into the season at that point. Like, come on. You're giving up already? Some fan. You're not a fan. You're a fraud is what you are.
Agree.
Like, I hate that shit. Like, you probably paid $150 to $200 for that jersey and you just threw it away.
That's the big
You
sin right
fucking
there.
fraud.
Like, to me, that's the big sin out of that. It's like, dude, like, you're really going to throw your jersey that cost you how much money onto the ice? I hope it was a Chinese knockoff that didn't cost you much money. Like, I swear.
Say, if it's a fraudulent fan, that shit came from Korea. Believe that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but
that's
North
true.
Korea, not even South.
That's true. Yeah, they're not going to be like me where they go to coolhockey.com and get their hockey jerseys and get everything professionally done.
That's
What's up,
true.
Willie? Willie Vegas in the house.
Yo.
You got saying, my
Julian
boys, what's
chiming
going
in
on?
too. Got Julian chiming in.
They're saying Detroit stays their fun punching bag. And then he says, it's your fault. What's that chant about? Oh, just trying to be annoying.
It's Nashville's fan base trying to get in the goaltender's head. It's kind of like any other fan base where they just, chant the goaltender's name, nickname, whatever. I think when Marty Brodeur would get crushed by the Flyers would just chant Marty, Marty, something along those lines. It's just to get into their head. It's just a very annoying chant because they have it literally goes on for like a minute where they're saying stuff and it ends with all your fault. It's all your fault.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a long time too. Because I was watching an old game from way back when they first made the playoffs and they were up against Detroit. They were doing it back then too. So it's been around since day one for Nashville. It's just we know more about it now because Nashville had that run to the Stanley Cup Finals recently.
And it's so annoying.
Oh, by the way, the goaltender in that game for the respective teams, I believe Tomas Vokoun was in net for Nashville. So there's a blast from the past. And here's another one. Manny Legacy was the Detroit goaltender.
Wait, for what?
It was between Detroit and Nashville. It was an old playoff game. Manny Legacy was in net for the Red Wings, and Nashville had Vokoun.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. There's some blasts from the past for everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Like, fuck, man. The Nashville was around when they were playing.
Yeah.
Hey, and Kimmo Timonen was on that Nashville team too. That was before
you know who
he
else
was
was?
in Philly.
You know who else was? He came over to Philly the same year.
Scotty Hartnell.
Scotty Hartnell, and he scored in that game as well. So that's good old Hartnell for you. He was doing Hartnell things.
I thought Hartnell
Philly
was going to punch out Al Morganti on the last pregame. Like, man, I didn't even hear what Al said, but he said something that was real embarrassing to Scotty there, and I swear I think they might have had some words during the break.
Some very loud words.
I miss it. I do. I do miss being up there. This is what I miss about it. Everything else about up there sucks, but I do miss that.
Man, stream it. I'm sure you can find a way.
I got a couple of different ways to go to. Dan's been helping me with some streams and stuff, but
that's good.
Yeah, man.
That's good. Eileen,
what's up, Miss Eileen?
Hello, Eileen? And let's see here. She was saying, what's the poll question? Well, here, I will show it so that you can see. Will the Flyers sweep Western Canada? Agree or disagree? Go ahead and cast your vote. Agree or disagree?
Do it.
Let's see. John saying, like when others would chant Hextall.
Yeah, the same idea. Absolutely same idea.
I will,
hey, John.
Hold on, boys. Before we go on, this is important. You brought up Dan. I do have to formally retract my troll comments on Dan. He found our show and he's been on every show. So now you have carte blanche to say whatever you want, man. You know what I mean? You've done the time. If you've listened to us for 2 to 3 hours every Tuesday, that's like, sometimes a pain worse than death. So you're in the club. Plus, no, on a serious note, you reached out to me and stuff like that. Offered condolences. So yeah, no, it's good. And I knew that too, man. Like when we were I was even throwing the troll comment back. I was just me talking shit because you were making solid points, and I'm like, damn.
Nah, Dan's a good dude. Dan's definitely a good dude.
Absolutely. Well, I had to come out. I told you, we established I'm Rob, bad takes phobia. And when I have a bad take, I'll come back and, I'll own up to it. That's what I do.
Hey, it's all good. John, I saw your comment about how to get a goalie cut jersey. What kind of jersey are you looking for? Like a blank jersey, or are you looking for one with the logo on it? Because I got a couple options here for you, brother.
Mike saying, can't wait to get Hayes, big body and skill on the lineup. He did have a comment earlier. Like, how long do you think it'll take Hayes to get back into the rhythm of things when he gets back?
A couple weeks.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere around that range. Yeah.
Keep in mind, he's probably going to be on the ice before he starts playing games again. So.
Right. Well, he's been looking good in that faction too. Like, I think he's set for an early November return, and early indications were good. Now, if he's skating well, he knows these boys. You know what I mean? Not even the new faces he's played with before in the past. So, and I don't think there's a bigger motivation in hockey this year. I'm very excited about what Kevin Hayes brings to this team. think he's going to have a fabulous season, and I think he hits the ground running right from game one. That's my prediction there.
I would love to see it. I would love
They
to see
just
it.
showed. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt, but they just showed San Jose. One of the Sharks players and his wife, they were dressed up as hockey fans on a night where they were playing Nashville on Halloween, and they got autographs from UC Saros and Ryan Ellis when Ellis was still on the team. I like that's actually pretty damn funny. And Saros was dressed up as Robin too, which was even funnier. I was like, oh my God, that is just precious. I love it.
That's pretty cool. I love those Halloween costumes that they do. I've been seeing a bunch of them on Instagram. What else we got going on in here? Eileen also wants to know who you think the biggest fighter on the Flyers.
All time?
Right now, I would say it's actually Sealer. Sealer's been freaking he's been all over the goddamn place, ready to throw down on anybody. It's either him or Thompson. One of the two. Ristolainen is like the guy he likes to throw the body around. Thompson doesn't give a shit. He'll just fucking kill you if he wants to. And then Sealer, he'll get the crowd pumped up. So there you go. It's like, all right.
Nate. Nasty Nate. That's right.
Love Nate.
Yeah, I mean, these are good points, but there's definitely, I mean, Konechny has thrown in the past, and has been fierce. Knuble, you said Knuble before. Kubel before. He definitely can throw a fist. We mentioned too, Chris was saying, I believe, or one of the other commenters in terms of trading JVR to give Brown more reps. Brown can throw too. And you know me, I would love to see another Flyer sweater with the last name Brown throwing fists.
I mean, all time probably be Brashear.
Well, yeah.
Just to take a different take from you guys. Yeah, I mean, he was put on the ice to do one thing, and that was fight. And in the offseason, he would take boxing classes, so I would not want to fight him because he knows how to fight. He knows how to throw a punch. So if I'm playing in the NHL at that time, he's the guy I'm avoiding the most.
He's also,
if I have the puck and I see him coming at me, I don't care who's near me. You're getting the puck, and I'm ducking like a little bitch. See me diving like a little girl into the bench. It's not even my bench. I just dive into it just to get off the ice.
You jump into the Flyers bench just like, no, I don't want to go back out there. He's going to kill me. But no, I understand why. Brashear was a fucking animal.
Dive into the lap of Riley Cote. Hold me, save me, protect me. I'm not even on your team. I don't care.
Yeah, Cote would be like, no, you threw the lure. You reeling that shit in, not me.
Oh, God, that was funny.
What was, oh, man, but Brashear, man, that's a good one for all time. I mean, obviously, Schultz is Schultz. We all know what Schultz he was. I mean,
of course, and I agree with Chris on that, too, because he brought up the hammer, too. He said no question.
Yeah.
And
he still holds records for the penalty minutes, if I stand correct, for all the friggin' penalties he took back in the 70s.
And I'm pretty sure most of them were for fighting.
Pretty much, yeah. And also throw some love in the 80s. Brown, the Brownie, he was nasty when he would get into it with people. I mean, just like Schultz, there was blood in those. Craig Berube, he would have some nasty battles in the 90s, so there have been a few.
Oh, it was a big hit on Kadri by looks like Braden McNabb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
greatest
I remember
Flyers versus Ottawa.
That's a good one. And I remember Dave Brown taking on Bob Probert, man. That was a great fight. I mean, yeah, I think you put Brownie up there as well, with Hammer. If he had a little bit longer of a duration with the Flyers, it'd be a little closer comparison. But yeah, I have a soft spot for Dave Brown.
Oh, Sandy McCarthy, good one, Mike. That was a good one, Sandy McCarthy.
Then you also
have Darren McCarty, who's a criminal.
Yeah.
I've been liking his play, Mike. McEwen, now that he had the visa clearing and everything, he's been a great energy guy on the fourth line there, and I think he could throw as well. all time, we can't ignore our show sponsor too, Riley Cote, who could throw down pretty fiercely as well.
Oh yeah. Cote had freaking scars all on his face and everything. You'd be like, holy shit. Like, Cote looked like he would just rip someone's head off.
But the funniest thing about all these guys, like I've gotten a chance to see and meet a few of them. Like we've had Riley on the show, and some of these guys are the nicest guys in the world. It's just, their skills just weren't good enough to really, that's all they could do. So their job was to go out and fight. And I've met Dave Schultz, another really nice guy. Like, it was just their job. That's all. Like, they weren't dickhead people. Like, I'm sure some of them are, but even still.
But I mean, to be fair, actually, funny enough, Schultz actually was a goal scorer before he wound up on the Flyers. He just started fighting because someone needed to start fighting and standing up for the other guys, and Schultz said, "I'll do it." And he just started doing it, and he started beating the shit out of people. He's the only one, though, that he's the only one on the Flyers that I felt had that ability. Just, he was the enforcer, and he actually could score goals because he had like 20 goals one year when he was with the Flyers, which is, I would love to see an enforcer be able to do that today, where you don't really have enforcers anymore, but that would have been crazy to see that back in the day. It's like, holy shit, he's got 20 goals and he's fighting all the time. Like, holy shit. Like, you don't see that.
Jody Shelley's another good one too there, Mike. It's actually really funny he brought him up. He's actually a really nice guy too. I've seen him interact with people, and he's a really nice guy as well, which goes to continue my point that even the guys who just do nothing but drop the gloves are awesome people.
And saying Homer could throw down too. Homer could back in the day. Back when he was playing, he was dangerous. You didn't want to drop the gloves with him. Also, at the same time too, congratulations to him on getting into the Hall of Fames of both the Flyers and the USA Hockey Hall of Fame.
Almost a terrible turnover for Colorado.
And Chris saying Dave Brown, Mel Bridgman. There's a name that you haven't heard in a while. Shame he didn't stay on the Flyers. He wound up going to Vancouver. Bob the Hound Kelly, Sean Antusky, Dan Kordick, Dan Lacroix.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Dan Lacroix is another one. Dan Lacroix, wow.
Yeah. Eric Lindros, Paul Gaunt, Scott Mellenby, yeah. Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet was a fighter when he first came into the league, but eventually he was like, holy shit, he could score? But
Mellenby could score too. Mellenby could score too. Like, he was that dual guy that he could sit there and he'll drop the gloves with you, but he knew how to do his thing with the puck and put it in the net. Absolutely. Bobby Stevens chiming in. What's up, Bobby?
What's up, Bobby?
Member. If you haven't, those of you that don't, Chris, I'm looking at you specifically. $9.99 a month. Become an A2D member. All kinds of perks to go with it. Shout outs. You can jump on the shows with us and debate all kinds of stuff with us. And you get weekly sports picks from Nate Money Moss from the Money Pot podcast. And you also get some betting advice from Willie Vegas. Guys, seriously, people are winning money. So become a member. Get this stuff. Win some money for yourselves. You're going to win more money than you're putting away for the ATD membership. You're going to wind up earning money for being a member.
Yeah,
seriously. So all kinds of perks for being an ATD member. Sign up. Should be a link in the YouTube somewhere. So Maddie, I'm sure you got access to the link if you want to drop that in the YouTube chat. For those who are in there, do you have access to the link?
I believe so. Yes.
Just drop that in the chat. No, I'm sorry to hear that, Chris, man. But I know you're in the family, bro. And I want to get all you guys perks. I want to get all you guys perks that are in the fam. Joey, Mike. I know I've probably seen you a couple times in the chat before. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on the notifications, man. Never miss us. Never miss us. All kinds of great stuff going on. Do something great. Oh, cool. Thanks, Chris. I mean, we've had Priz on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
We've had Priz on the show a couple times. We'd love to have more people on the show. Come chat with us. Turn it into a fan show and do all kinds of great stuff. So Become a member. It's only $9.99 a month. Like I said, if you're degenerate gamblers like most of the other guys that work on ATD, you're gonna win some money back. So it's gonna almost be like you're getting
sir.
money for being a member.
Rob's like, yeah.
We were
Degenerate
gambling
gambling.
this weekend though, up 12 units. It was a great weekend for the fam. Shout out.
Nice.
All the more reason.
And
Love you,
Matt,
Eileen. Be
back to
safe.
Homer getting into the Hall of Fame. Isn't him and Rick Tocchet getting in on November 16th, I believe?
Yes.
We got to take over. We got to take over the well. Let's go, fam.
Don, where's your tag? You're not green anymore.
But Eileen saying, gotta run. Have a good night. Be safe and well. You have
You
a good
too,
night.
Eileen.
You as well, Eileen.
But yeah.
So
do something great. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Everywhere. We are everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Everywhere to go. Everywhere. Spotify. Apple. Everywhere. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Never miss a show.
Eileen said, well, Tocchet, was he an alcoholic? He might have been, honestly. I know for a fact Ed Belfour was. That's why no one wanted him after a while. That's why everybody laughed when Toronto got him. Be like, oh, is he going to stay sober when he goes out on the ice? It was cruel back then. But anyway, hey, Chris Dunn saying 22 to the rafters. Oh, nice. And Don was saying his membership expired. It's all right, man.
Well, you
Just
better renew it. You got to renew it. It's not so you're not going to just pay one time and be a member forever. I wish that's how it worked.
John saying, yep,
slacker.
night after the alumni game. Then Prism saying, I tried to shout you out and congratulations for your Red Wings beating the skin off my Hawks. Oh, that's
bad.
what it was.
That one got ugly. Lucas Freeman had a hat trick in that game too, which was pretty awesome.
And
so congrats to him.
And Prism, thank you for the shout out you gave to me for the Sharks doing well right now. I'm happy that they are doing well, but I'm still not holding my breath. It's still a full 82. I'm going to wait and see how they last as the season goes along.
I mean, I'm a little upset he hasn't given me any shout outs for my Ducks playing well. Feel a certain type of way.
They need to play well first.
They're 2-3-1. That is playing well for them.
One below 500, baby. Yeah.
Seriously, I'm looking. We're tied for a playoff spot right now.
Goddamn the Pacific Division.
Calm down.
That goddamn Pacific Division. It's like, 2-3-1. That's good enough for a playoff spot. God damn it.
We're 6 games into the season. Come on, Maddie.
I know. I'm just joking. But
17 should be in the rafters, Chris. I agree. I love Brendan Moore. I love him better. I love him even more as a coach. I'm about that close to getting a Carolina Hurricanes jersey with his name on it.
I mean, with the way that he's been coaching that team, he might very well pay off like he did as a captain. I mean, seriously, he might very well be the main contributor to both of Carolina's cups if they get another one. As a captain for the first one and as a coach for another one. That would be crazy. Prism, fuck your Ducks. You said you want Chicago out of the conference.
I said no such thing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You did want to trade
Shut
Detroit
up.
back for
Shut
Chicago.
All right.
Oh, but anyway.
Check this out scoring wise. Not a lot has changed.
No, not really. Not on this game.
Still 4-1. Devils down midway through the third. Same with the Lightning. Still up 3-0. Knights midway through the second. 2-0 still. Predators at the end of 1. Still up 1-0. Late night game still not underway. So I'll have about another 45-ish minutes until they get started.
Yeah. So far, Same thing pretty much here with the Sharks. Still 1-0 Nashville. Hopefully that changes. Although Sharks did have a late power play and evened up the shots on goal, so they might be getting back into this game. So that's good news for me. Nobody else.
I hate to say it. Let's go Braves. Up 5-0 right now on the Astros.
Oof. I mean, it's a rough year for baseball fans all around, it sounds like, because no one really wants Houston to win another. And, I mean, I don't think anyone likes the Braves besides Braves fans. I haven't heard anyone like
They have a good fan base, though. They have a good fan base, though. They've gone through thick and thin with this team, so part of the reason why I think the Braves are a little more deserving than Houston, but Dusty Baker doing what Dusty Baker does, and that's win baseball games. He's been successful everywhere he's gone.
Hey, what's up, Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy.
Now, I will have to say this. It is kind of funny. My mom went to see a friend down in Atlanta, and they went to an Atlanta game against the Phillies, and the Phillies lost that game. That was that really close one that the Phillies almost came back in. And there were fans that were annoying her and everything like that. So she officially said this when she got back. She's like, Atlanta fans are worse than Mets fans. So, Rob, your Mets fans have gone up in the rankings. Atlanta fans are worse than Mets fans.
That's right. Mama knows.
I mean, I don't agree with Mama Sensuti there, but
hey,
I mean,
the question.
I'm who I am. The question. I know who I am. I have no idea I don't know what I'm saying right now. But yeah, Braves up 5-0. I mean, I don't want them to win, but again, like I was saying earlier in the show, Ryan and Tom brought up a great point. Does it put pressure on the Phillies to be better? Absolutely, it does, and that's what I want. I want my baseball team to be better. I want Red October. I'm dying for Red October.
If I could offer a little criticism on the Houston Astros, here's where they didn't bank and account for the lack of innings in the 2020 season and shifted Christian Javier to a bullpen role. And I think they did that back in July. You should have been rolling a steady 6-man, maybe even working in a 7-man, and you wouldn't have Valdez crumbling here in the latter part of the playoffs.
So what do you think? He's just been overworked during the regular season?
Yeah, I think that's why it's exactly what it is. I mean, they threw a Greinke went down the last 6 weeks of the season, so they were even pitching 5-man going into the playoffs. And, you know, I don't think anyone threw particularly a lot of innings. And let's remember, too, Valdez in preseason, broke his finger and didn't start. I think he had like 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks into the season before he started. But still, there was such a light amount of innings thrown in 2020 that they're crumpling a little bit. And whereas the Braves, they did a lot of bullpen games, especially when Soroka went down. You know what I mean? They had to start getting creative earlier in the season. And I mean, it's easy to say that when you got an arm like Charlie Morton, that's like, you know, just a rubber arm. Like that guy could all just throw innings right out, you know, in his sleep. So I don't know. Just not to make this long-winded about baseball, you know, right there, you know, not to point fingers, because I mean Dusty Baker has done a lot in Major League Baseball. 3 titles will show that, but didn't account for that, and I think it's costing him here early.
Yeah, but fortunately, it's only game 1, and I mean the Braves lineup needs to get going. Freddie Freeman had a rough start to the playoffs. I think he wound up going like 0 for 7 in his first 7 at bats for the Braves in the NLCS, which was tough. He's starting to turn it on a little bit. So
yeah.
I just they even without Acuna, they still have a very tough lineup to pitch against. And I kind of like your point, Rob, because you know if you have tired pitchers already in game 1 against a lineup like that, the Braves are going to manhandle you. I don't care who your manager is. The Braves will manhandle you because they have a tough 1 through 8, and they'll produce.
Something interesting did pop up, though, on the intermission here, that apparently the Flames, Elias Lindholm and Andrew Marchpan, they have 7 goals to start off the season in their first 6 games. The last player to do that, it was 91 and 92, and it was Gary Roberts, who, you know, if anybody knows their hockey, knows Gary Roberts is one of the best players the Flames ever had.
Yeah.
So, that's good company.
I've always known Gary Roberts as a Carolina Hurricane, though. But, yeah, no, absolutely. It is 5-2, by the way, in that game.
Yeah. That's a rough game. Although I do love watching the Devils get the shit kicked out of them. Nothing better in the world. Oh, actually, one thing better in the world. Watching Tampa Bay Lightning absolutely pummel the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is nice to see as well. Sort of a back at you from the season opener where Pittsburgh absolutely blasted them.
I mean, how do you say his name? Is it Mangiapane or is it Mangiapane? Because I always heard it as Mangiapane.
It might be Mangiapane, but I have heard Marzipan. But then again, hockey announcers are funny. Like, you'll hear one say it wrong, and then you'll hear another one say it right, and you don't know which one is what.
I think it's Mangiapane. I think is actually how you properly pronounce it.
All right, so
because
Marziapane,
it's literally how it's spelled, and I think somebody just scored. Hang on. Oh no, they just went on the power play, so it's 5-2.
Okay.
Mangiapane has 2 goals. Lucic has 1. Lindholm has 1. Zaka has 1 for the Devils. Mercer has the other, and Matthew Tkachuk has his 2nd of the year for the Flames as well.
Gotcha. A perfect example, too, of mispronouncing names. Go back to the bubble when Khudobin was having that really great run. There would be guys who would say Khudobin because it has the K in front of it. Yeah. And then it finally came to, oh, no, it's Khudobin. That's how you properly say it. I'm like, oh, well, don't I feel dumb?
No, and that's exactly it. Like, some people say it phonetically, which is kind of why I think it's Mangiapane. And I call it Mangiapane because it just sounds cooler.
It's also probably right because it's probably an Italian name, and that's probably the way that's how you would say it if it was an Italian name. I'm going to assume it is. So that's why I think it would be working there.
Right. Chris brings up a nice point.
Yeah, he says, why does Lappy keep getting promoted? He has been a shitty coach at every job they gave him. Reminds me of Homer. Phantom should be good with all that talent. Worries me for the player progression.
4 goals in 4 games for them.
That is pretty
winless.
Bad. Yeah.
I believe they're 0-3-1.
Oof, that's a bad start. That's beyond a bad start. Yeah, I mean, Lappy's been around for a while, and we got Jim saying, "Yo, fellas,
what's up, Jimmy? Good show last night, bro. Good show. Catch Jimmy on Flight Zone every Monday night, 9:30.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely check that out. Check out all the shows on ATD Radio. But
best in the business.
I will say this too with Lappy. He's been around for a while. He's been a part of the organization for a long time, and he has been a part of player development, and, we have seen some players who have had some issues. Maybe it could be that, maybe there is a bit of a pattern of some issues that have happened with some of the Flyers prospects in the past. And it could be something like that. It could be, Chris did go on to say he's never been a head coach. He's never been a head coach. Reminds me of someone else in Philadelphia.
Yo, Jimmy, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Learn from the best. That's right. Yo, DB.
Hey, what's going on, man? You catch me giving up on my Kings season already. It's way too early in the season to give up now, man. Listen,
you don't look good.
I'm happy right now with the way the Sharks have been going. They've been looking good, but how are they going to keep this up? I'm not holding my breath. It's a full 82 season. A lot can change. Hell, the Sharks could very well finish last place that I figured they would. It still may very well happen. It's way too early to assume that your team's in trouble. Well, your team is in trouble,
Matty.
But it's not in that sense of
one win, Matty.
You're in disaster. Yeah, that's my point.
Win.
But my
one
point,
win.
Okay, 1 win, but still at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? The Flyers doing great right now too. Pray to God it stays that way. Pray to God for both my teams, but it's an 82-game season. A lot can happen in an 82-game season.
True, but they put themselves in a hole early. You put yourself in a hole ery, it's going to get tougher.
Yes. Granted, you shouldn't do that. I will agree. You should never do that in any sport.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Chicago, winless. It could be Arizona, winless.
Or Arizona.
It could be Chicago, winless. I'm going to say it one more time because I know Prince is listening. Chicago's winless.
The Dagger.
Did you mention Chicago? I don't think you did.
Oh, Chicago? Yeah, they don't have a win yet. So,
people in Chicago, sports fans running for the liquor store like stat.
I know. between the off-ice bullshit and between the on-ice crap, boy, there ain't much to be happy about right now.
And the Bears weren't doing much better either.
Chris saying there's only one team, Flyers. Yeah, there we go. Love it.
Oh, I moved my jerseys. This is the only one I have near me.
Is it a Blackhawks one?
No.
Oh. It's Ertz. Okay, there we go.
I wore it for him on Sunday.
But I do
And then I realized that they
Phantoms,
weren't
so-
televising the game down here. So then I was just like, oh, well, that's not nice.
Oh, good. San Jose's got
It
But
brought
he
him
does-
a touchdown, though. It brought him a touchdown. First player in NFL history to score back-to-back weeks touchdown on 2 different teams.
Mm-hmm. And it was his longest touchdown of his career, too, 49-yarder.
Ooh, you know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, at least the Eagles are setting records, even if they're not winning.
Well, technically it's Ertz, not the Eagles. So.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah. Right.
At least the Eagles have some. At least Zach Ertz will have something in the Hall of Fame for him, and I think it's a pretty cool stat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, Philadelphia sports, it is all on the Flyers, isn't it? Jeez, no pressure at all. No pressure at all for the orange and black to do good this year.
I mean, the ATD chat isn't looking good with the Sixers chat in here. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Not looking good.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that figures had a great game. We will miss him, and he will be in the rafters. Yeah.
Wait, who dat?
Any
I think
team
it
with JoJo, I believe in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, for the Sixers at least, you know that it's still very early in the season. They have a lot of issues they have to work out. I don't think this is a sediment on the team. I think it's a sediment on the distraction that is Ben Simmons, and I think that's really what's hurting this team right now versus anything else.
Yeah, Dolphins are the second worst team, and Eagles own Miami's pick. That's actually a positive. The double zeros.
The Eagles might wind up with 2 top 6 picks, so that's a plus side. But here's the downside, but it's a major downside. Howie Roseman is still the GM, and he will fuck both of those picks up. Oh, you mean this guy's a projected top 6 guy? You know, going to be an elite level talent in the NFL. He's going to give you 25 touchdowns a year. Let's go with the guy who's projected in the 3rd round.
Jimmy, the Flyers are literally my only hope and happiness. They better not fuck it up. Oh my god!
If you guys check out Flight Zone, you'll understand why. Poor Jimmy. It's tough being a Philly fan. It's tough.
DB saying, has anybody figured out how to watch NHL games on Bally Sports without a cable subscription? I tried going to ESPN Plus route, but they black out local games. Oh,
yeah. I don't know if it's anything like Comcast. Comcast has the My Teams app or something like that. My Teams app, yeah, where you can actually stream them through the cable subscription. But I don't know about Bally's. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But fortunately for me, where I am in North Carolina now, DB is I actually get the Carolina games local, so I don't really have to stream anything. I'm still trying to figure out how to get Anaheim though.
Let's see here. Chris saying the tank is on for the Birds. Sixers will eventually trade Ben. Phillies need a rebuild or an elite FA once again. And all we have is the Flyers.
Well, the Phillies,
Bring it.
aren't they already considered a rebuild? I mean, they definitely need to go out and they need to do some stuff in free agency for sure. They need to shake up their roster. Oh yeah, Hulu. Hulu's a good way to go. Nice call, Jimmy.
That is actually
I heard they
true.
have live sports.
Yeah, true. Hulu is doing that. They even show it on the ESPN schedule.
I think I'm the only one that caught that, Rob.
Thank you. I thought I was getting cookies. Which I've heard on a regular basis my lifetime, so it wouldn't be a surprise. Hey, if you're still here in the chat, man, drop that link that you shared with me. It's I can't access it right now, or else you'll lose me again. But it's a pretty sweet link for picking out games that get blacked out locally.
00.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
We were
I think it's what, NHL 66 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying we were undefeated versus Knicks with Ben. Knicks beating us in New York. That's their Super Bowl.
They'll go out and they'll celebrate that win. They'll go out and celebrate the win in right outside of the Garden, and then they're gonna just do what the Knicks do best. fall apart.
That's actually funny too. Think about it. It's like you talk about like a rivalry between Philadelphia and New York, which is pretty much in all sports. And the funny part is with basketball, it's just like when was the last time that the Knicks and Sixers rivalry was actually good? It's been a long
It's been
time.
a long time.
Yeah, very, very long time.
Probably the early 80s.
Christ, that's a
I mean,
very, very long time.
The Sixers were bad for a very, very long time. And right now the Sixers are decent, between decent and good. And now the Knicks are bad. They're on the up and up. They got some good pieces there, but the Knicks are still bad. They're still bad. It's not like it was.
Actually, what about maybe where were the Knicks at during like Iverson's heyday? Were they like a little competitive?
Maybe like a little. I know. Was it that? Did they have Latrell Sprewell at that point? It was like the Latrell Sprewell, maybe like the Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Or maybe Penny Hardaway may have been a little further back, but Chris says since Patrick Ewing, so that's the 90s.
Yeah, because that was the next point that I was going to bring up. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sure where the Sixers lied then. But, I mean, I was just thinking back to, like, Bill Bradley versus Dr. J.
Yo, those are battles. Those are battles.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you think about it, between that time frame, like between Dr. J and AI, the Sixers were not good. And then you get AI, and that helps transform that team into something, let's be real, amazing.
Okay.
Priz saying the Knicks went to the finals in '99. That's interesting.
Yeah,
probably. I mean, Priz
I was going to say that. I think that was the most recent time then. Because then you had the Sixers going the next year, right?
Yeah, I think it was the year after. I think it was 2001 when they played the Lakers. So, all right. So, yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you think about it, like, think about the Eagles and the Giants, which I don't even know right now where that rivalry would fit since both teams are not really good. And then on top of it, you also had, but you did have that period not too long ago where they were in the playoffs all the time, and they did face each other often. So that isn't too far back in the memory.
No, I was going
to say. We got a nasty fight here.
Whoa, between who?
I don't know I don't know. It looks like is that Kevin Roy and who wears 3 for the Avalanche?
Got
it's
me.
Not Eric Johnson.
I'm not sure. New penalty just got called in the Sharks Nashville game, and it's 2 minutes for interference on the Sharks. No, I think it's on Nashville, actually. Good. Sharks have another power play.
It was justified. He brought the elbow up on a hit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then you have to stand up for your teammate there. That's some bullshit. Let's see here. Jimmy saying, without the Yankees, New York is dog shit, and every borough hates the Bronx. Fuck New York.
Couldn't agree more, Jimmy.
Chris is saying, 1600 says, Knicks sucked them too. Isaiah Thomas was paying terrible players franchise money. Larry Brown traded away the Knicks picks for old players.
Sorry, Chris. There were a couple of haymakers thrown in that fight too. Like there were some dingers. I think I may have gotten concussed watching that fight.
And Jimmy saying, I know the Isles had some success a few decades ago, but other than that, well, the Islanders, their best time period recently is now, because even when they had some sparse moments of success with Tavares, but they could never get consistent success from them. They won their first playoff series with Tavares since fucking 93, but they got eliminated the very next round. So it's like, whoop-de-fucking-do. You beat the Panthers in the first round. That's not hard to do.
I mean, they had the 80s where they were really at their best. But yeah, I mean, Islanders spent a long time being a bad team, and then they're a perennial playoff team right now. With Barzal and Bolivier and all those guys. They got a nice young goaltender in Ilya Sorokin, and even if you want to go back a little bit further. Back when they had Rick DiPietro, they were a solid team too. They were a playoff team. Maybe not the team that they are now, or the team they were in the 80s. But Islanders, spent a long time at the bottom of the division, and now I would say the last 20 years, they've spent more time at the top than at the bottom.
Yeah, I could see that. Plus, also, the Islanders weren't terrible going into the 90s. They were okay. They did have some moments in the sun. Are the Flyers not allowed to play Tuesdays? Yeah, apparently not. I don't even. Well, hold on. Let me check my calendar.
Eventually, it's coming around. That's why we shifted to Tuesdays. We're gonna have lots of live reactions where you're gonna see me go nuts.
Here we are, next Tuesday. So November 2nd, next Tuesday. Put it in the calendar, folks, because at 7 o'clock the Flyers are going to play the Coyotes. So we will have live reactions for that next week. So there we go.
Maybe my computer will be finished updated by then.
What's the over-under on Rob's computer finishing updating?
So you can see the magic that is Clovia losing his shit during Flyers games. It's very entertaining. Come back for that.
Just don't break another chair.
I know. I broke a chair on the video that opens us up all the time now.
But at least that was a good moment.
The one we've seen bouncing.
At least it was a good moment. If you're going to break furniture, break it on a good thing, not on a bad thing.
See, I break furniture during good moments. I throw things during bad moments.
It's always a party.
You know how many controllers I've broken? Many.
Oh, boy.
Been there.
A lot of PlayStation controllers, a lot of Dual Shocks going to the wall.
So my guitar, it's sitting right over here, actually has a nice ding in it because I decided I wanted to throw my controller after a terrible loss in NHL. That's
still
plays
always,
fine. Don't worry.
At least it's fine. Yeah. Chris was saying Bossy had 1,126 points, retired at 30. Deserves an argument on his behalf in GOAT talk, to be honest. Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt at all. Bossy was unbelievable back in the day.
He's not the GOAT, but he is GOAT status for sure. Even when we had Pronger on, Pronger was a big fan of Mike Bossy when he was growing up as a kid. He grew up as an Islanders fan.
He said that. Yeah, we asked him that, and that's what he said. So,
I actually need to reach out to him.
Also, another guy on the D side of things, you had Denny Potvin, another great GOAT. He was the big player for them. Most people talk about Potvin. The Rangers have Potvin sucks for a reason. They absolutely hated Dennis Potvin because of how good of a player he was. And, they had great teams all around. Billy Smith is an underrated goalie, too. He was a really good goalie back in the day, too. And he doesn't always get the credit for how good he was for the Islanders because you were so blown away by the offensive capabilities. But same thing with Fuhrer. Although Fuhrer a little bit harder because of the fact he had no defense in front of him in Edmonton. That poor guy facing like 100 shots a night, and he has to make 100 fucking saves.
I'm glad you said Billy, though. That's what I was going to interject with. That was my player of that decade. Him and Bossy almost made me like, because that was right when I was like very young. You know what I mean? I was still a young pup then, too young to really follow sports. So thankfully, I found Brendan Moore and Talkett, and then I was like, yeah, buddy. Yeah. So that was a narrow miss because it would have made geographical sense based on my other teams. I might have been a 4-for-4 guy. You know what I mean? Thank God.
You'd be very unhappy right now.
It's interesting. This kid's getting a game misconduct for this hit.
Who's
getting a game misconduct?
Johnson from Colorado. It's not Eric Johnson. It's one of the other ones.
Gotcha. Although
it doesn't look like he actually got the elbow up. But there was definitely contact to the head. I don't know. The angle it shows, it looks like when his elbow comes up, it's like he's actually kind of like following through instead of making the initial contact here and then coming through. But I think it was the pinpoint where it looked like his shoulder caught like right in here. So I think they're calling it a shot to the head.
Oh, was he? He was trying to extend his arm to create space, and kind of the elbow kind of caught him in mid-process.
No, so he came in and he hit him, but I guess the way he hit him, it kind of looked like when he went to extend his arm to kind of like, I guess, follow through with the hit, it kind of give him a little push.
Yeah,
It kind of just came up that way.
Yeah, that's a good call, Ben.
Yeah.
But I believe Roy got 2-minute instigator and a 5-minute for fighting. And then Johnson got a 5-minute for fighting and a game misconduct. He got something else too, but I don't remember what it was.
So Wah was the one who fought him? Interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys in 1 second here. Let me get the official.
Patty, is there a band name called Five for Fighting? Because that would be a good band name, right?
I don't
Ben
think
Folds.
so.
What's
It's
that?
Ben Fold. I think there's one of Ben Folds bands. Ben
Well,
Folds and Fight for Fighting.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
All right, then we'll have to start 2 for instigating. That was where originally I was taking that joke. I'm glad it came back there.
There's
And
actually a
Colorado
really
just
cool,
scored.
So there we go. Colorado's in the game now.
Cale McCarr.
Oh, makes sense.
The boy.
Yeah, makes sense. McCarr. Talk about a GOAT right now for the Colorado Avalanche. There's one right there. Of course, the Avalanche have goats and spades pretty much right now.
So
I will take those fantasy points. Thank you.
Nick Roy got 2 minutes instigator, 5 for fighting, and a game misconduct, and it's Jack Johnson. Wow, Jack Johnson went to Colorado?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
A couple of years, I thought.
Uh,
Oh, no. He was.
you're thinking of Eric Johnson.
I'm thinking of Eric Johnson. Yeah.
You're thinking of Eric Johnson.
Damn you,
Jack-
common names.
So Jack got 2 minutes for interference, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct.
Oh, damn. They threw the fucking book at him. Holy shit.
They're trying to cut that shit out, man.
No. I get it.
Oh, I agree, Chris. I love Ben Folds is great. Yeah, the song
now.
Superman, I think, was 5 for fighting. It was they were actually 5 for fighting at that point, I believe.
That's why I asked. It sounded familiar.
There
But
is a
now
band.
I'm on to a whole brand new name. Game Misconduct. Let's go.
Chris of saying Jack Johnson greater than Ben Folds 5. Oh my god, that's funny. But
I'd have to agree. I like Jack Johnson's music is just kind of like just super chill.
what do you think is up with Vegas, Colorado, Tampa, and Toronto?
As far as what there, dude?
I guess to their starts to the season. I mean, Tampa had a slow start, but we were calling that Stanley Cup hangover because that does happen.
Yeah.
Toronto, Toronto is just, they've done this before. This is nothing new. We saw it happen when they got Austin Matthews. I think it was a couple seasons in. They had a very hard time getting offense going. They really struggled, and it wasn't until the bubble, and they were still having problems, and they lost the series to Columbus. So it's not uncommon for Toronto to be having issues. They've had them before in the regular season. They shouldn't, but they do. And Colorado, Colorado, you have a one bad game. It's not the end of the world. Vegas, they've been fine. I haven't really seen anything bad from Vegas. They've just been killing it, really, which, again, we expected them to be doing that.
Yeah, Vegas is doing Vegas things. The thing with Tampa is Tampa's going through a lot of things right now. And the big thing is, to Maddie's point, the hangover. There is a lot of changes in that Tampa Bay locker room as well. Leaders are gone. Guys who've been there forever are gone. So you got changes there in the locker room as well. So you got new faces like Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. And then you have Corey Perry there now too, and a couple other new faces. So that's another thing too. You gotta work chemistry with some whole new guys. So that's another big thing you got to keep in mind as well.
Damn, that was nasty. One of those Sharks players hit a knee of one of the National pros with his face. He got hit in the shoulder. He went down, and his knee, bang, just smacked right off of the knee pad of of one of the Predators. I couldn't tell.
But you can.
Love it. Double Zeros. No, not that song. I can't sing it. First of all, I can't sing. Second of all, I can't sing on here because of copyright. Just Google it or like look it up on like Apple or something like that. It's Superman by Ben Folds 5.
Is that the one that says "I am Superman"?
It's like, I may sound concerned, but don't be naive. Even heroes have the right to bleed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then that I haven't heard that one. I've heard that.
It's an older song. It's an older song. I think he's on like a back of a tractor trailer playing piano or something like that, singing the song as well in the music video. It's a good song. It's a really good song.
I remember that. That I remember very distinctly. But you can sing your own cover. Plenty of people do covers on YouTube, Brian. Don't let that stop you.
But I'm not trying to get us flagged.
Yeah. No, yeah. YouTube will be fine. You know it'll be Zuck. Hey.
I mean, Zuck will get us for something. He always does. He's got nothing better to do with his life.
Literally, I got flagged for putting. There was this post where it showed this picture of like 1,000 speakers, and it said, "What name one song you would play through here?" So instead of writing it out, I did the YouTube clip to Thunderstruck from AC/DC. I thought that would sound great on those speakers. They flagged that comment they said that I was spamming, and I'm like, do you think I own the song Thunderstruck and would be doing my own personal Facebook?
It's like,
I would hire people to do that.
I'm sure whoever owns AC/DC's music would have something to say about that. But
yes, that too. Yes, let me skim over that. I was like, "Yeah, Facebook's on its way out." Unfortunately.
Oh, God damn it!
Oh, everybody hates it. Everybody hates it now. But anyway, enough of trashing Facebook.
Unfortunately, Nashville's trashing the Sharks. They just went up 2-0. God damn it!
Sharks suck. Get over it. So,
well, I'm already over it. I just like to see a good game on Tuesday.
Get over it. I'm watching a good game right now, so just turn on ESPN. It'll be fine.
No.
How are you all feeling about Gretzky on TNT? I love him. Him and Tocchet going back and forth is hysterical. I love it. I think that's a good crew.
Oh yeah, man! Freaking with what's his name? Bissonnette, dude. Him and Gretzky bounce off specifically has been very fun too. Like, I think Gretzky's got to get a better sense of, you're not just talking. You know what I mean? Like a little more broadcasting sense. That'll come with time. Like you see a lot of awkward, like transitions. Like and he's always trying to talk over what's his name? The guy floated over from NBC. That's
Liam McHugh.
Yeah. Because that dude needs to shut up and let Hall of Famers talk. Like, first of all, like get trained in on that. But there's a lot of over talk that'll come in time. But in terms of the analysis has been spot on. Things where like a subject's brought up, and then I have an idea that pops in my head, and Gretzky saying it, I'm like, there's no wonder that he's a great one. I don't think there's anybody that knows hockey better, the game better than Wayne Gretzky. So, I think it's been really good. I've liked him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't pan out as a head coach, but I think he's going to make a pretty good career out of being an analysis. I mean, just because, like I said, like he takes some shots at some of the other guys. The other guys take shots at him. They're all laughing. They're all having fun. And like you said, the breakdown of plays and the game and all that other stuff has just been pretty spot on. It's a shame he didn't work out as a coach because I think he could have been a good one, given a fair chance and not being the Coyotes, but I think he's done a great job on TNT. I think they did a really good job putting this crew together, and I actually look forward to watching TNT games.
You know what he would make? You know what he would make a good? I don't think he's cut out for a head coach, but like synonymous with baseball in terms of a bench coach or being your number two, like say Michelle Therrien to AB. That I think would be a great role, but unfortunately, I guess you can't do it because it's Wayne Gretzky. Like that, I think that would be successful, but I think it'll be as successful, behind the desk too.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I mean, honestly, I would say, did you guys see the comment he made on opening night when they were going through with the whole, where they were showing off what you got to do, and get in position and stuff, with the sticks. And Wayne said, like, yeah, I used to get billed for breaking these. What? They used to bill you for breaking the sticks? What? That's
He
something
probably
you
went
wouldn't
through
see
so
today.
many. That's probably why. It's like, hey, listen, we can't give him free sticks anymore. He keeps breaking them all.
Edmonton can't foot the bill for much longer. Oh, but let's see here. Chris was saying, like, Ed Snyder almost got Wayne from Edmonton. Imagine how different would 80s and 90s be. That means no Eric. I mean, if Wayne had come to Philadelphia, that would have been interesting. It would have been different. I would say that the Flyers would have to be a little bit more. They would have to have players around Wayne that would be more scoring oriented. Not to say Flyers don't have score oriented guys during the 90s, but there wouldn't be as much emphasis on the tougher guys. There would have been a lesser emphasis on that, which would have been very different for Philadelphia as opposed to the norm. The norm is, some skill, but also a lot of toughness thrown in there.
Yeah, let me just say something real quick. Right, him and Mark Recchi would have destroyed people.
Oh, absolutely. Would have
He
fucking
destroyed
murdered.
Philly. I got so excited with the camera, I had to say it real quick.
And
What is Barry? I hate Barry Melrose. I can't stand that guy.
Barry pretends he knows what he's talking about because he
How,
rode the
like,
coattails.
how
of
does he
Wayne
still have a
Gretzky.
job with ESPN?
I
How?
don't know, man.
He's not
I
good.
don't know. I really don't know. He must be, you know what it is? He must be like a really awesome guy to be around. Like, not even necessarily for hockey reasons. He must just, like, when you pop a cold one with him, he must be funny as hell to hang out with.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of why he stays around. He seems
Of
like the kind
course,
of guy
he's fun to be around. He's full of hot air. He's hot air.
Mm.
But
that's
what
my
he's
only
done,
theory.
to his credit, though, what he's done ever since hockey left ESPN, he's continuously worked in ESPN doing a podcast every day since then. You know what I mean? And I think that you have a guy that's, he kind of comes off as a braggart, but he's a pretty loyal guy. So, of course, they're going to reward him now that they got hockey back. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why he's on there.
I can't stand him. I can't stand the way he
Agreed.
looks. I can't stand his voice. I can't stand his takes. I can't stand anything about him.
Slimy prick.
Benny's Nation, a little late. What's up, fellas? What's up, Benny?
Little. You only got a couple minutes left. You're way late.
And Barry saying Barry Melrose is starting to lose it. He's going down the Lee Corso route.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I mean, Prism does bring up a good point. He's probably been grandfathered in. He's also the only hockey guy ESPN also had, which is kind of alluding to Rob's point there.
But, like, you just brought in a bunch of guys. You have,
True.
I mean, he's not really the only hockey guy that you have. Steve Levy's a hockey guy. Neil Buchagras is a huge hockey guy.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. I'd rather see Buchagras on the panel.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, he's leading the panel tonight, fortunately. It's him, Messier, and I didn't see who the other one was.
Fuck it. Bring back Keith Olbermann. Let's go.
Yes. Hold up. We might be onto something there.
He knows it's hockey.
Yeah, he does.
See? We already know. We already have this problem solved. The problem is ESPN won't solve the problem. But
hey, Priz. Do me a favor. Let me know how many wins you guys have this year so far. Because I'm pretty sure we have more than you. Come talk to me when you get one, bro.
Cold-blooded.
Love you, Priz.
Keith would have been sick for hockey coverage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Here's a little question for you. Do you see Joel Quimble seeing any sort of suspension stemming from his days in Chicago?
Interesting.
Because they suspended Alex Cora when he was he was no longer even with the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
Beltran lost his job. He was initially hired as the Mets manager, but his connection, you know what I mean? So even though he's with a different organization now, should there be some accountability there?
Yeah, I mean, Beltran stepped down though, right? I didn't think I thought that was like a mutual. Yeah, but no, overall points still taken. Unfortunately, I think there will be some kind of punishment. I think he will face a suspension for what he dealt with, or what he did, his part in it. I think they're going to do some further investigations into it. And I think once they get all that done, they're going to hand out some more. I don't think we're seeing the end of the punishments coming out. We saw Scotty Bowman step down. We're seeing the organization as a whole fined. We're going to see more. I think it's going to take a few days, but honestly, I do see Quenneville getting suspended for what happened. Not fired, but I think he gets suspended because Cora only got suspended. He never got fired.
Agreed.
So I think we definitely see a suspension at some point. Just not sure when.
So, he was saying who was that guy who was doing the play-by-play in the bubble for the Flyers and Islanders series? He was awesome. Was that Kenny Albert?
I was going to say, it could have probably been Kenny Albert.
Because he normally does do a lot of the I don't mind Kenny Albert. I don't think he's a bad hockey commentator.
He's a tremendous announcer, football, hockey, absolutely.
Takes after his dad.
I think he's my favorite Albert, to be honest with you.
That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot because his father's a legend.
Yeah.
But
what's up with the Moon Man? Like, so can somebody explain that to me? I flipped over to the baseball game. Every baseball game I watch, there's a Moon Man there.
Not I.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
By the way,
I've seen it at the Dodgers and LCS mainly, but.
By the way, guys, Brent Burns cut his hair. He's got that shaved head. He looks like a fucking convict. Seriously, just look at his freaking headshot. It's like, yeah, that guy looks like he should be in jail. Oh, and Carlson cut his hair too, and he got rid of the curling parts of his mustache.
I love his hair. I love his haircut. To be honest with you, I think Carlson looks better. He needed to get rid of the locks. I think he's playing a little bit better with the locks being gone.
He is. He's been contributing a lot, getting back into the form that the Sharks were paying him to have, and they were paying him a nice, pretty penny too. So, Benny's saying thoughts on Emily Kaplan. I'll just say it, not a fan. She still doesn't look comfortable. Reminds me of Rachel Nichols early in her career. What's you guys take on that?
I don't know. Is Emily Kaplan the one who's doing the sideline reporting today for tonight's game?
So.
Because
yes.
if that's her, I haven't actually heard her yet because I have the games on, but I have them on low, so I don't really hear anything. But that was, I mean, she's cute. She's nice to watch. She's nice to look at. But I haven't heard her talk yet. So
yeah, I haven't heard her talk either. I've seen tweets of hers, and there's been some very informative, both NHL news as well as like analytical stuff. You know what I mean? Like, knows the game. I need to see more because I'd be honest with you, I haven't watched. Most of my hockey has been either NBC Sports or TNT. Like, I've maybe watched like the first game that was on ESPN, and that was it. Because I don't know, man. Something about ESPN pisses me off.
A lot of things about ESPN piss me off.
I think it's just ESPN. I think that's where we can put it.
Worldwide leader.
Get them.
Oh, let me see here. Let me know how
hold
many.
On, real quick. I want to address Chris's comment real quick. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's pussifying another sport. I think what it is, it's making sure that shit doesn't go down that doesn't need to go down. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's all assault. It's not about being tough. It's not about any of that. It's about assault. Actually being a decent person to each other. It's one thing to haze people. Like, we haze each other all the time. I get hazed at work. I haze the guys at my other job. But it's a matter of being a decent human being and not actually assaulting one another. And having people see it and not sweeping it under the rug and addressing it what needs to be addressed. Because not only does that, it's charges that could be filed.
Yeah.
It messes people up. It really does. It messes up here. Because there's people that don't know how to deal with it. You can't get people help if nobody reports anything. It's a terrible situation that nobody should have to put up with. It's not about pussifying a sport. It's about doing what's right. It's about treating people the way they should be treated. Not assaulting anybody else just because, you're a hockey player. You can take it. No, that's not what it's about.
Nah,
There's too much of this shit going on in beer leagues and public leagues. This shouldn't be going on there either. You know, we got to put this shit aside. We need to stop acting like, he's just a hockey player being a hockey player. So because he plays hockey means he can be a piece of shit person? No. It's about being a decent human being and doing what's right. And if somebody's getting assaulted, doesn't matter, verbal, physical, sexual, doesn't matter. That person needs to be reported. That person needs to be taken care of. Because obviously somebody else in that situation is not being safe.
Well, there is a line.
Is not safe.
There's a line, and it's obvious. And once you cross it, you cross it. You can't go back over it. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, you cross the line. Simple as that. You know, like everyone knows where the line is, and if you want to cross it. But you will have repercussions. You know what I mean? That's the thing about sports. So how far does that line go? You know, where is it? You know. And once you'll find out real fast once you hit it.
Yeah, and Chris, I agree with that. Like the coach needs to be fired. Like people need to be fired for what happened in that situation, because it all got swept under the rug. That's why they're having the investigation. That's why punishments are coming out now. It should have been handled at the time, not now. That's my point. And to say that it's pussifying the sport, I think that's just flat out wrong. To be completely honest with you, I think this sport's still the way it is. I just think we need to get under. Players and league officials and coaches and front office personnel need to get shit on lockdown, because if guys are seeing pros do it, guys are going to do it in beer league. Guys are going to do it in public leagues. There's girls that get harassed all the time because they're a girl playing hockey. It's got to stop.
Oh, proper hazing. This is a guy chiming in here that's played a fair amount of his sports, and mostly baseball. I played some hockey. I played some football, right? I also pledged a fraternity in college, right? Proper hazing is twofold. It should make the person better in the long run and teach respect to your veterans, i.e., carry the bags, clean the locker room. Maybe this day and age, there's the players don't have that hands-on. You have assistants. I get it. They pay for dinner, then. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Also, making them better. First on the ice, last off the ice. Work them hard in practice. Calisthenics, ups and downs. You know what I mean? Things that are going to make the person ultimately better. And at time, it's hazing because hey, I'm telling you to do it. So it's hate, you know what I mean? When it gets to assault and laying hands on people and violating that space, now you're weakening that player. You're weakening that mind to have that sharpness, almost to think that that's okay to lay hands. And let's talk about the sport that we're talking about. If you put your hands on my teammate, we have issues. You know what I mean? So to teach that acceptance of it is going to have a less aggressive player in scrums. I don't want to be playing next to that guy. So it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. And this is exactly what I'm talking about here. Like what Prison just said.
Talking about the Blackhawks situation, a kid had his career threatened while dude held a bat at him and jerked off on him.
And that's my point. Yeah. That's my point. That's the shit that needs to be reported, and nobody did anything about it. And I agree, Chris, it is jail time.
And he did serve jail time because, and this is the really sad part, the Blackhawks were a reference for him getting a job at a high school. And he did sexually assault one of the players at the high school. He served 2 years in prison for that. Should have served longer, in my opinion, but still, at the end of the day, hopefully he got his ass whipped more than a few times in the prison yard. Anyway, the point is that this situation, it goes beyond hockey. It's also about someone whose life was pretty much ruined, because it's also traumatic. That's the other side of it we don't always talk about, the trauma of the situation. That person's got to live with that event for the rest of their life. It's like, that cannot be. You can't tell me that he doesn't wake up in the morning and he doesn't go back to that. That's got to haunt him. That might haunt him before he goes to bed at night. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he went and saw a therapist and he's able to get those things under control. But still, they can flare up again. The traumatic event of that doesn't go away. And if you repress it, it's just going to come back even worse. So again, the other mental side of it is even worse because that goes beyond the rink. That's someone who now has to live with that for the rest of their life. It's just you can't. Yeah,
It's stuff that should not have been swept under the rug. That stuff should have been taken care of the moment it happened, and nobody did it. Everybody turned a blind eye to it.
yeah,
Everybody in the organization did.
yeah.
And it's a shame because, like Maddie just said, players' career was ruined because of it.
Mm-hmm. And the life outside of the rink, and that's unforgivable, really, when you ruin somebody's life like that, and you're doing it for some sadistic pleasure. That's the sick part of it. That's the real sick part of it.
Well, yeah, kind of, Chris, a little bit, and that's kind of what some of the reminders are. Like, people knew what was going on, but nobody reported anything. Nobody said anything. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's not like it's fucked up enough that the players are doing it, but and it's fucked up that it's going through not just the NHL, but NHL, college. This is happening everywhere, and it has to stop. It does have to stop because people are messed up because of it.
absolutely.
People have mental issues because of it. People who love the sport won't play it because of things that are going on in the locker rooms before, after games. I read a story on a FLYERS group of a woman who she did everything she could to report guys about, hazing her and sending her dick pics and all kinds of other shitty stuff because she was a female playing hockey, asking her out on dates. She would report to other people what these guys were doing. These guys did nothing. These guys did nothing to these guys. All I'm saying is this shit has to stop.
DB saying those Blackhawks teams were messed up. They had assault misconduct going on. Patrick Sharp was sleeping with players' wives. Patty Kane getting into bar fights. I knew about Kane's situation. I did not know Sharp was sleeping around with players' wives. That
doesn't surprise me. Look at Patrick Sharp. He's a
stud.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking guy. So, it's not a shock that some of the wives would, that he would get himself involved in things like that. It's a shame that he did, but
JR reincarnated.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't they play together? Where do you think he learned it from?
Over in good old Philadelphia.
It's just I love the sport. I do. I love most of the players that play it. I respect all the players that play it. But knowing the shit that goes on behind the scenes it ruins it because you think these guys are admirable. You see them do great things on the ice for their kids, great things in the community. And they're sitting there abusing each other in the locker room in like 4 different ways. That's not how you build team chemistry. That is not how you support a teammate. Like this needs to stop. It needs to be better. And it needs to be not just the NHL. It needs to be every league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you talked about college ball before, Brian. This is why I'm so fired up and passionate about this. Is that my nephew plays college football right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear about any of this nonsense. He's a freshman. He should he should be carrying the equipment back. That's it.
Yeah. People play this game because they love it, and then the people that love it and are playing just for the fun of it get hazed and certain things done to them, and it ruins the game for them. It ruins their love for the game because people are shitty. It's just a hockey player being a hockey player. No, that's a shitty person being a shitty person.
Yeah, you don't get a pass for bad behavior. It's sad, though, because it's like you do see it happen in other leagues, and it's more public in other leagues, like the NFL. How many times do you see players hit their wives, they do fucked up shit, and yet they get a slap on the wrist from the league, and no one gives a shit after a while, and it's like, well, you're just enabling it to continue, and people wonder why players continue to do it. It's like, because the league does nothing about it, and that's just as simple as that. The league does not a damn thing. And Jimmy saying, guys,
because they swept it under the rug. The entire organization swept under the rug. NHL probably didn't know until recently. And yeah, Chris, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, there's a hazing to do about it. There is a hazing to go about it. There's hazing to build that But when you're being held down by a baseball bat and a dude's going to blow his load on you, you don't think there's something wrong with that? That's not going to do anything. That's not going to earn anybody respect.
Right.
That's not going to make me want to come back into the locker room.
Well, Adam Butt said this.
Let's go do the exact opposite.
He did say the one bad apple shouldn't spoil the bunch, though. Correct.
Yeah.
And there are good players that did not do any of that shit, and they deserve to be praised for the talent that they brought to that team. So, yes, absolutely. There were definitely talented players who weren't in on that shit, you know?
Yeah, so, Adam, and I agree. There one apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch, but you know, this is a situation that's not just happening in Chicago. I'm sure it's happening in other leagues, other teams around the league. It's happening in other leagues around the country, probably leagues around the world. It's just a terrible thing that, you know, they think that's how it should be because, you know, it's hockey players are tough. Yeah, they're tough. But in that same breath, there's a line across. There's proper hazing and ball busting that creates respect and creates guys that want to fight for you. And then there's what the Blackhawks did. And that's not going to do that. That's going to do the exact opposite, which is kind of ironic because they won 3 cups in 5 years in that stretch. But it is what it is. But yeah, it's terrible. This is really all I'm saying. Like it's terrible, and it just needs to stop. And it's not just the NHL; it has to stop everywhere. I've read too many stories about people getting just, you know, just straight up abused and all this other shit because they're in a hockey locker room. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Like I said, there's a right way and a wrong way, and I see too many wrong ways to do it. And Rob broke down some of the good ways to haze a player.
Adam Butt saying, thanks for the respect, guys. No problem.
Of course, Adam. All the time. We may not always agree, but there will always be respect. Me and Chris, I love Chris. Chris is a member of the family. I still respect Chris. We may not see eye to eye on this, but I still respect Chris at the end of the day.
DB's funny. There is a counter that showed how many days a current or former NFL player has gone without an arrest, and the highest they got was up to 30 days. Oh, my God.
I'm glad you brought that back, DB, because that's what I was going to say. See, in football, that seems to be the MO. For hockey, you know, they're modest folk. They're you know, non-egotistical, but they'll fuck your wife. It must just be like a way of life in the hockey realm.
Oh, God.
And that's messed up too.
That is, goddamn.
That's messed up too.
But overall, though, you know, to finish up this conversation, Blackhawks were fined $2 million in the end. And then on top of it as well, Stan Bowman did step down as the GM. I will say this, though. I kind of feel, and this is my personal opinion, no one has to agree with me, I kind of feel like that was a little light on them. And the reason why is because they punished the Coyotes pretty harshly for, you know, having combines when they were told not to, where they stripped them of their first round pick that they had to trade back in. So it's like, I mean, I get it. $2 million is a good chunk of change to lose, but when you're a team like the Blackhawks, you make that up in like 5 minutes. In my opinion,
would they have had to give up a pick, Matty?
I feel like they should have had some kind of repercussion in that regard as well. I feel like it's a little light on them, and I feel like that's not good. It's not good transparency throughout the league. It's like you punished Arizona with taking a pick away from them because of a combine violation. All right, compare that to the abuse and the sex scandal. That's small potatoes. That's just what the fuck, you're an idiot for doing the combine thing. The whole sex scandal is like, you should probably, I'm not saying be heavy-handed, but you should show a little bit of transparency with it. Little light on an original 6 team, I feel, and it just is not proper punishment in my opinion. You know, I prefer transparency over, you don't have to be harsh with it, you know? Because, I mean, they punished the shit out of the Devils for signing Ilya Kovalchuk to that long-ass contract. They took draft picks away, and they took multiple years away from them as well on top of it. So it's like, damn, that was harsh for over things like that.
They're not done yet. I promise you that. They're not
I
done
hope
handing
not.
down punishment yet.
I hope not.
I think that's just – I don't even think they necessarily even – like Scotty Bowman resigning, I think he did that on his own after everything came out. I don't even think that was a league thing. I don't think the league has really put out any punishment yet.
All right. Because I will say the league should do something. I'm not saying they have to be heavy-handed with it, but I will say this. You should still make an example of the Blackhawks and show transparency because you did punish Arizona for a violation of the Combine. You punished the shit out of the Devils for signing Kovalchuk to a massive contract, and you also banned Slava Voinov from the league for the rest of his life after it came out that he was beating up his girlfriend. So I want to see transparency. That's all I want to see. All I want to see from the league. You've treated this pretty harshly on other violations. You treated Slava Voinov banned because of the beatings. You punished Arizona and you punished Kovalchuk, the Devils, for a couple of contract situations and a Combine violation. So I want to see transparency. That's all I want to ask.
You'll see it. You'll see it. I think the league is still trying to they're still getting info. And I think it's going to take a little while, but you will see the punishments handed down. DB, I saw your comment a little ways back. I agree. If they weren't winning, they probably would have come out sooner. Chris?
Good point.
I love you, dude. I really do. I'm with you. I don't condone abuse in any form at all. What it sounded like was the way you said it, extra hitting during practice. Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Extra hitting, sitting at the plate, taking some extra cuts after practice. Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Yep.
That's the right way to do it. You want to haze some rookies? Send him on the ice by himself. Make him the first and last one on the ice and off the ice at practice. Take the team out to dinner and give them the bill. There's so many fun ways to haze a player. And I'm just saying Chicago didn't do any of that. Chicago it was shit that should not have ever happened to anybody. But yeah, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. What's up, Tommy?
Oh, boy.
Benny's a little concerned. You have to believe the league had this report well before it was released. They should be acting now. And then,
they actually just released the Jenner report today. So that's why you saw Scotty Bowman step down, and you're going to see more. You're going to see more happen to the Chicago Blackhawks. The team was fined $2 million?
$2 million. Yeah.
So you're going to see more handed down. There's more people involved in this, and I think they just need to iron out some of the more details. And it's an incredibly long report, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But you will see more punishments handed down.
Yeah. DB saying that Voinov story was nuts. He convinced his wife to tell the police that a TV fell on her. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Benny's Nation. In Russia, TVs fall on you. Oh my God. That was probably Voinov's excuse.
What if the TV falls on me? What then?
Oh, Krista's saying, I think the bill is theft. Remember in Sopranos when Christopher refused the bill? Not good.
I never actually saw The Sopranos, so I don't know. I've always known that some of the rookie hazing has always been, you take the team out and the team makes the rookies pay.
I mean,
it sucks if you're the only rookie on that team that day.
They did that with, but then they did that with Young. They hazed Youngblood in the movie. They got him. They got him super fucking plastered, and they had practice the next day.
They did it in the third Mighty Ducks movie. The varsity team took the JV team out and stuck the JV team with the bill. Oh, excuse me, that came out of nowhere. They stuck the JV team with the bill. They couldn't pay it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's right ways and wrong ways, and that whole scandal is just top to bottom the wrong way, and it went from top to bottom of the organization to hide everything and sweep it all under the rug. It's just it's a shame because careers were ended early because of it.
Yeah,
it could be worse. You could be Charlie Morton.
Yeah, I saw that fractured fibula.
Yeah,
the World Series from that comebacker. That's
we did do a top hockey movie. We did it with, and we also did it with, I believe it was the Flyers head of player development on that show. So, but we could.
It was with John Riley. It was.
That was good. And I believe he said Youngblood or Alaska. One of the two. I think that was his choice.
I
But anyway.
think he went with Youngblood. But yeah, Mystery Alaska was another good one.
That was mine.
Was it yours?
Yes. I mean, it wasn't mine. That is mine, I should say. It's my favorite.
I love them all.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, all right, gents. That'll pretty much do it here. So we've talked about everything that I believe we needed to talk about. Besides the Blackhawks, so far the only punishment that came through on the fine, and I do agree, spit in the bucket from double zeros. But we'll see what comes down the line from the NHL further. Like I said, I want to see transparency. I want to see a better punishment more. Hopefully we get that in the coming weeks, just to be fair to all the teams in the league. And on top of that as well, we did talk about the Flyers on a more positive thing to talk about. The Flyers, we talked about their tough loss against the Panthers and their great victory against the Bruins to start off the season series and their rivalry with them. The Flyers get to have their first matchup with the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night at 10 for the first time in 2 seasons. It's been a little bit since, last year couldn't have one. But it should be interesting. The Oilers, a very dangerous offensive team. Hopefully the Flyers can shut that down and get themselves a big victory out there. And is it still Rexall Place? What's the name of the new building?
I think it's Rexall Place.
It's still Rexall Place? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. And hopefully they can get a big win there and start off the road trip in Western Canada the right way. But then, anyway, guys, we thank you all for joining us. And here is our sponsors for the show. As always, we did have Body Check Wellness earlier. And we also talked about Manscaped, which you can get 20% off with the A2D code. What are you getting rid of, Bri?
Drunk Funk.
Yeah. Also, in a serious note, since we were talking about something serious, if anybody is struggling with any mental issues or addiction issues, the Counseling Center in Sunrise Detox, give them a call at 856-651-8117. Addiction is not something to sniff at. It is not something to deny. It is not something to not actually want to fix. So go take care of your addictions. And if you have a mental health issue as well, whether it's bipolarism, really bad anxiety disorder of any kind, anything you're going through, go seek the help you need. Do not let it turn your life into a tailspin to where it's almost impossible for you to be a functioning human being outside. You don't want it to get to that point. So, and we don't want to see a loved one go through that either. Get the help you or they need, 856-651-8117. All right. Brian, if the people out there enjoy Hockey Happy Hour, and if they enjoy A2DRadio.com, my man, where can they go to support us?
My dude, you can always head on over to PhillyDrinkers.com. That's Philly Drinkers LLC. Go see Alex Einhorn. It's got all kinds of great A2D stuff over there for you. For you Eagles fans out there that are kind of over the whole Jalen Hurts thing, they have the Gardner Minshew t-shirt. They got the stash. Eagles with the A2D logo. That's one of our newer ones. For the Sixers fans out there, you got Thrust the Process. Or, you're just kind of like, well, I love the shows here. We got plenty of show shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies. It's getting cold out. You need a hoodie? We got plenty of hoodies to choose from. We got zip-up hoodies. We got regular hoodies. We got a Nike hoodie, really nice Nike hoodie. And then all kinds of other great stuff like mugs, all kinds of shows. So, great stuff over at the Philly Drinkers LLC. That's PhillyDrinkers.com. Alex Einhorn. Take good care of you guys.
Absolutely. And all Campus OC, 20% off everything in their store, including hats, shirts, and their team cornhole sets to all of their subscribers. They do have the rant booth that is available. I think is the Shore officially closed down, or is it still open? Still open?
It's still open. They're doing the rant booth Sunday mornings before the Eagles games.
Okay, then. So before the season kicks in where they shut down, go down, see John Coyle, great guy. And he's got a great store out there. And, hey, if you want to go down on Friday and join in on the rant booth, he lets it. So it's definitely worth going and checking it out. All right. And if you have any aches and pains going on, Specialized Physical Therapy is where to go. You can find them at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. They just added concussion services, so that's a huge thing because obviously concussions are not something you want to play around with. You want to get that taken care of as soon as possible. And if you also have any aches and pains, Brian knows he had a problem with his shoulder. He went and saw Dr. Paul, and he went to see the great staff over in, where was it, Cherry Hill or Burlington?
Yes. Cherry Hill. Allie did a good job to start me off, but Carrie finished me. Oh, I should rephrase that. I started my regiment with Allie. Carrie finished my regiment, and my shoulder feels great. My other shoulder is starting to bother me, but I'm using stuff that they taught me to kind of catch it early, so before anything really bad happens. So go check them out. They are rock stars over there. Cherry Hill, Burlington County, best in New Jersey, best in South Jersey for a reason. Jimmy, yeah, pause, rewind. Go check them out. Dr. Paul, he's our doctor. Make him yours. Specialized Physical Therapy. They rock. They are the GOAT.
Absolutely. And if you are in the Levittown, PA area, or if you want to take a trip out to Levittown, you're not that far away, go ahead and check out Gleason's Bar, which is located at 6700 Mill Creek Ave. And you can use the promo code A2D for 10% off of your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online at Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com. Check it out. Great stuff there.
Yeah, DB, we are family. I love my family. You guys, I love all you guys. You guys fucking rock.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We would be nothing without you guys. And FanUp's Flex Ball contest, that is incredible. So, yeah, that's definitely true on that one. But also, we wanted to say, too, that the FanUp app, definitely the best place to go for your fantasy sports with daily NFL contests and more. You can win great prizes. And if you sign up today and you use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, that's a $50 value. All you got to do is go to FanUp.app and download it. And there you go. You can earn yourself some cash. See, we're all about you guys making money. I mean, hell, you guys take Willie Vegas's advice and you take the Money Pop Podcast's advice on your A2D membership. Next thing you know, you go to the FanUp app and you start putting that shit in. And next thing you know, you're getting paid to be a member. We're paying you to be a member of A2D. So there you go.
I mean, you're getting paid before you sign up with FanUp. But you sign up for FanUp, you're going to get even more money.
Yeah.
You're going to be rolling in that. You'll be heading into the strip clubs, making it rain. Send out them $1 bills on them girls.
Yeah. But before you start shooting out that, how about this? You want to get a nice watch too, right? Before you go, you want to show off that you got some money. You want to have a fancy little watch. Or if you're more of a casual person, want to have a casual watch just to check the time, and you don't want to reach into your pocket and pull out the phone every 5 minutes. And also, if you just want to have a nice watch for maybe athletic wear, just in case you're going to yoga or you're into the gym, lift some weights, you hit the bag a little bit, they got everything for you over at LaTerrain.com. If you need a watch, use the A2D code, 10% off your order. You can use your earnings and get yourself a nice little timepiece right there.
And then you know what time to go to the strip club and spend the rest of those FanUp winnings,
That's right. That's right. And have a flashy watch, too, while you do it. And let's see here. And if you are looking to buy or sell a home or change your career in brokerage, Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820. Visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com, ladies and gentlemen. That's the place to go. When you're making a move, it's very, very important to get that right. Alan Foy's the guy to make sure it's done right. So take a look at him. And
Benny, why are you taking shots?
People are
you
taking
just
shots.
got here. You just got here and you're taking shots. You got here like 5 minutes ago.
And by the way, folks, because it is coming up, Halloween will be here soon enough. This year, Patty Whack invites you to be a part of their contribution to the Phil Abundance Camp Out for Hunger and mention Money Pot on Halloween for 10% off your bill at Patty Whack. So, hey, it's a great, great cause for everything. Taking care of hunger. Hunger is a terrible thing to see. It's a great thing to give some money to and give some contribute to. So definitely check that out. And don't forget to mention Money Pot.
Yeah, this is something to definitely get behind. The Phil Abundance is great. They always do a great job with their charity work and getting out to the getting food out to the people who need it the most, especially this time of year. It's starting to get colder. So definitely take care of this for sure.
Absolutely. And finally, our show sponsor, Body Check Wellness. You can use the promo code A2D for 25% off of your order. Hey, listen, guys, those products, they're going to give you a great quality of life. Check it out. Riley Cote created them, and I'll tell you this. Rob can tell you right now, he's been using them. They've been doing him a great service. They help promote focus and clarity. They help you with dieting. They help you with so much. So check out Body Check Wellness and get 25% off with the A2D code. All right, guys. So we thank you for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Next week, we'll be coming at to you. You guys think we should start at 7? I think we should start at 7 for the game.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right.
I'm not even necessarily sure I'm even going to get the game, so.
No. Well, we might be able to start up at 7 o'clock. Maybe not, but we will definitely start up at 8, if that is the case, to catch the Flyers versus the Coyotes and give you guys live reactions for a Flyers game for the first time, hopefully, and most likely not the last time this season. So we'll see you guys next week for that. Stay tuned for it, and stay tuned for all the other great shows here at A2D Radio. But until then, guys, peace and love. Take care of yourselves out there, everyone.
Be good to each other.
Oh, and happy Halloween.
That too.